headlines, in the sound bites. Let's not forget that it's not a movie. We joke about South Africa being a movie, but this is not a movie. This has to do with our lives and the experiences that we as South Africans are going through on a day-to-day basis. So we'll take your calls for the National Roundtable on the open line. I know it's not going to be long, but we will have it nonetheless, and we're grateful to be able to have it. And the number to dial this morning is 086 000 2032. That's 086 000 2032. On the WhatsApp voice note line, 0614 104 107. So we'll take you to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. It's day 3 of Brian Mokhotse's evidence before that inquiry today. And I believe that already it has become clear that his continued time in the stand is not going to be as easy as day 1 is. Already yesterday, he was confronted with the fact that he lied under oath and having to explain why there are inconsistencies in his statement. Advocate Shalskerson was very clear. He called him a professional liar. He says you're an agent. You lie for a living. Why must we take you seriously now? How do we not know you're not lying now? Because that's what you get paid to do. So we're expecting that it will be yet another tough day for Brown Mokhotse, at least in having to bring congruency to the evidence he's giving. And then later on this morning, we'll also take you to the ad hoc committee. We're expecting today that the Chief of Staff for Minister Senzo Mchunu, Cedric Nkabinde, will also continue giving his evidence. And there were questions around timelines, credibilities of stories. And Cedric Nkabinde has come back to clarify, as he describes it, the timeline of events regarding his contact with Brown Mokhotse and when exactly him and Brown Mokhotse started to get in touch. It also then had to do with the Crime Intelligence Officer, Brigadier Dumsani Khumalo, and the decision then to take a complaint to IDEC, which is the Independent Directorate for Investigation of Corruption and Crimes. And that's ultimately what had led to Khumalo's arrest. So this morning, in fact, I believe it's going to be the SAPS head of procurement, apologies, as Cedric Nkabinde wrapped up his evidence. So it's going to be the head of procurement that begins to give evidence before that ad hoc committee. So that's what's coming up on the show in the next 3 hours. For now, let's take a quick break and then I'm back with your calls.
Introducing South Africa's most affordable way to get hearing aids. At Specsavers Audiology, you can now get a pair of hearing aids from as little as 599 Rand per month. Hearing clearly shouldn't be a luxury. Enjoy life's moments from 599 Rand per month. Test your hearing today and join the conversation with Specsavers Audiology. T's and C's apply.
Masandawana want to ensure that their DRC visitors have no say in Pretoria, the country's capital city. Meanwhile, the railmen are committed to a decent result away from home. This is the Group C first leg clash of the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns FC versus FC Saint Eloi Lupopo. This Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University. Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption, and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Reigning champions, the Reds, believe a win at Anfield always brings great euphoria to their fanatics.
He find the cross. He's down to Ekatike and Churches has given Liverpool a lifeline. His first Liverpool goal, and it could be vital just before the break.
While the Trick-or-Treats are searching for a top-of-the-range strategy to defeat the Reds.
Driven in by Nico Williams. Well, it may have taken Liverpool 95 minutes to break Burnley down.
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling contest between Liverpool FC versus Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 22 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The 19th Annual Chief Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture will be delivered by the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday, the 20th of November 2025, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the MH Yusuf Hall, Westville Campus, University of KwaZulu-Natal. The theme for this year's lecture will be Reflecting on the Work of the World Trade Organization and its Global Impact. This will be a hybrid event streamed live on the University of KwaZulu-Natal's YouTube platform, as well as the Luthuli Museum Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tune in to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda, coming to you live from the lecture. The annual Luthuli Museum Lecture is a partnership event between the Luthuli Museum, Luthuli Foundation, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. For more information, contact Zinhle Nyembe on 032 559 6824 or email profficer@luthulimuseum.org.za or Pam Adams on adamsp@ukzn.ac.za. Visit www.luthulimuseum.org.za. Hashtag SAFM Talking Point.
All right, you're listening to the Talking Point. So we'll take what we can in as far as callers on 086 000 2032 before we take you back to day 3 of Brown Mogotse's evidence. Speaking of Brown, oh, did you see that clever headline by, I think it was the Sowetan 2 days ago. The headline was Brown Mugozi. Such clever writing. Let me go to Ezingweleni. Dwaisa, good morning.
Hey, Sister, good morning.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to ask you how are you. But yeah, I understand how are you and how do you feel and you not fullness. Hey, I can't even explain how much I agree with you. This is a big moment for us, and we have planned, but I did not expect this. You, uh, so because to follow all this information we have, but other
Mm,
committee decide, Madlanga Commission, and they all understand the information they're giving us. It's impossible to question. It's anyway coming to my take on blind Hot evidence. Uh, this I think it's obvious that the has fighting and I think Brazil is innocent and uh, then you know the evidence as you said in the opening remarks, Shackleton, I think he thought his into sport. actually finished, and he did use it more for my sentence out. Um, if he says in the full view of the whole nation and in front of the that he, how about his testimony? How about his alleged attempted hit on him in the phosphorus? And how about yeah, I don't know.
It
I really
raises
don't
it
know.
raises too
And
many questions around his credibility, right? And how admissible then can be the evidence that he gives, because you just don't know what the truth is.
and the last I give others a chance. And think that then for some reason, all of us, that this is and I can agree with him more. And he keeps
Okay.
on saying he wants us to
Okay, Dwaisa, I'm going to ask you to leave it there.
he came to help the mission.
Okay, Dwaisa, let's leave it there. Let me bring in Dumisani in Germiston. Good morning, Dumisani.
Morning, how are you?
Yes, Dumisani, go for it.
No, no, I'm saying that we cannot celebrate when the greatest rating is uh, relating their ratings because these are self-repeating things. Do you remember under Jacob Zuma, there was a sabotage? I mean, when I say sabotage, because our leaders, the politicians, and the NGO, they put these agencies, these international bodies to go after to go Burma, to sabotage the government. You know. So some of these agencies were invited by
I think you're
politics.
talking about the lobbying, right? The
The
lobbying that
lobbying,
happens. Yes, yes, okay.
doing lobbying this international. You know, every time the Zuma move, and then these rating agencies were applauding. Every time he moves,
Although
we
we were grey-listed under Cyril Ramaphosa presidency, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
that was
I
pretty
understand.
significant, Dumisani.
I love remember the random manipulation instead of Jacob Zuma, and then money laundering also, corruption, all these things. So, one they do have and and somehow even the president can be claimed by money laundering.
Okay,
So
so
I'm
Dumisani,
saying,
quickly, what's your point?
so my point is we can't celebrate when this organization elect or uplift to this country because these were self-inflicting persecutions. Yeah. Our politicians.
Okay, all right, let's leave it there. That's Dumisani in Germiston. Yeah, I would agree in the sense that self-inflicted, maybe not necessarily entirely on NGOs and lobbying that is done, but self-inflicted because we don't implement our own policies. We all know that South Africa, in as far as money laundering, right, illicit financial flows, has been high risk for some time. Some of those warnings even began with former President Thabo Mbeki, and that has been self-inflicted. So yes, there's a role that the lobbyists can have, but ultimately, what is it that we also show as a track record that either supports or takes away from those arguments? And unfortunately, we have been left wanting in that department. It's time for the latest news headlines. And then on the other side of this, we're back at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Brown Mokhotsi gives evidence for day 3.
Good morning. In the headlines, a 9-year-old boy has been shot multiple times in Vryheidskraal in Athlone in Cape Town. Police spokesperson Wesley Twigg says an unknown suspect opened fire on a man walking in the street and the child was hit by stray bullets. The Reserve Bank's Monetary Policy Committee is expected to announce its final interest rate decision for the year this afternoon, and the ANC Youth League has expressed its support for ANC MP Malusi Gigaba, who has stepped aside from his duties. Gigaba has been charged with corruption relating to a multi-billion rand Transnet tender. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
The Jet Set Breakfast.
Jeffrey, talk to us about when you went on the initiation at the age of 12.
What we're told is that it's a beautiful place in there. It's not really in the bush. It's some sort of heaven, paradise, with life. But when I got in there, it was something else. I couldn't feel the thing that could make me a man or feel like I'm a man. So I was shocked, but I endured. Yes.
You might find, Jeffrey, that there are people that listen to this and say, yes, but this is our culture, and therefore it remains as part of culture. How would you respond to that?
It is my culture too, but I'll ask them and the countries and nation, would we, is it better to die as Africans than to live as human beings?
Michelle Constant on the Jet Set Breakfast.
From the first bullet fired to the last betrayal uncovered, the battle for the Dutton legacy has left blood on the land and scars on every soul. We've seen loyalty tested, families torn apart, and enemies made in the name of power, pride, and survival. Now, as the dust settles and new threats rise, the question remains, how far will the Duttons go to protect their empire? Yellowstone, Season 5, the fight isn't over, it's just begun. Starts Tuesday, 18th November at 7 p.m. only on S3.
Afternoon Express is proud to be nominated in multiple categories at the 3rd Annual National Film and TV Awards taking place on Saturday, the 22nd of November. And you can add your voice by voting. Visit nationalfilmacademy.com, register and vote for Afternoon Express in the Best Entertainment Show category, Palisa Tembe for Best TV Presenter, and myself, Ayanda Gitabete, for Best Female TV Personality and Celebrity Personality of the Year. Voting closes on the 20th of November at midday.
Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions. IoT that connects systems and people. And connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
The best of the good life is coming back in 2026. But first off, Billings, Jonathan, Fez, and myself reunite for a road trip to the top beaches in SA. Kraalbaai, Camps Bay, Boulders Beach, and Nature's Valley. Don't miss the Top Billing Reunion Special, Thursday 27th November at 7 p.m. with repeat Saturday 29th at 3 and Sunday the 30th at 1 p.m. S3, open up.
Hashtag SFM Talking Point.
And I have an instrument called the legend building, which allows me in circumstances in executing my duties to use what you call a false life. It's part of what I do. And the reason I requested to speak, Commissioner, it is because even the evidence leader, I was checking how it's like he's a prosecutor. He's not playing the role of the evidence leader. because I said I am an agent. In circumstances when in executing my duties, I have to lie. Now he come to the people, to the public, and say I'm a professional liar, knowing that I told him if I execute my duties, I do give a certain impression uh, to reach or to get to the bottom of what the mission wants. Because even Madam Commissioner yesterday, she said, I'm bringing allegations, I'm talking about people, allegations that I make, I cannot provide proof. That is my job, commissioners. An agent is not a policeman who will obtain statements that can be presented here. I give intelligence information which must be converted into evidence which the commission wants. And how will that be converted? Information be converted? It's when I bring people again who will corroborate what I'm saying to become the evidence that the commission wants. Example about yesterday, she said, are you accusing Brigadier Sebola? And I said, no. But I was going to say the handler is Colonel Koza, is working with Brigadier Johnson. And after the murder of that particular informant, Colonel Singh investigated the case. What does that mean? It means when he meets with the commission, he'll be able to show the commission the light as to up to where his investigation arrived. But the moment you cannot say that, I'm not a policeman. I cannot even analyze what you call intelligence information. And I'm bringing raw information, but I'm not saying I cannot support or I cannot get anyone to come and corroborate. And last thing that I'm trying to say about Senior Counsel Charleston. Evidence leader, maybe I should read this. Please, Commissioner. Evidence leader present evidence in a formal process, such as in a disciplinary or commission of inquiry. Their role is to assist a committee or tribunal by organizing a leading evidence, which include preparing witness, interviewing them, presenting their evidence in a clear and structured way. Unlike a prosecutor, because now even when he spoke about he gave us this thing to go and read, that me and the legal team should go through it. Now he comes and talk about the Richards Bay terminal, and I was not prepared, of which I also have a story to tell. That the coal that comes from there goes straight to Israel. There was people protesting in Richards Bay.
Mr. Mokhotsi, can you please try to confine yourself to the question of the oath and giving an explanation? Now you appear to be attacking the role of the evidence leader. I'm not quite sure how that relates to how you value or do not value an oath, and why, as you admit, you told a lie in your affidavit, which is annexed here as Exhibit CJC 44. Can you please, I'm giving you all the leeway to explain yourself with regard to the lie that you admittedly told. But please don't veer off to a whole lot of other issues.
Thank you, Commissioner. Then it means, commissioners, we need to start at this particular point. Does the commission believe and acknowledge that I'm an agent? If commission
we cannot answer that. We are still to evaluate the evidence at some point. So we cannot say, yes, we believe you, Mr. Mokhotsi. We cannot do that, not now.
The answer, Commissioner, to the question because the commission has not yet arrived at the conclusion if I'm an agent. Commissioners, yes, I lied in executing my duties. My conscience, when signing this affidavit, I was I took an oath in front of that particular police officer, that commissioner of oath, knowing that it's a lie in executing my duties. That's correct, Commissioner.
I want to suggest to you, Mr. Mokhodzi, and hopefully, and depending on the answer that you give, this is the last point I'm making at this stage. I want to suggest to you that an oath is meaningless to you, and I have no reason to believe that the one you took before us here means anything to you. Do you want to comment on that?
No comment, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mokhodzi.
Mr. Mkhotsi, maybe just to complete this topic. Yesterday you discussed with Mr. Chaskalson the judgment, the Northwest judgment, and you remember the conversation about, on the topic of agency, that in your affidavit you had said one thing, and then in your replying affidavit you were making corrections, saying where you referred to August, in fact you meant to refer to September. You remember that conversation?
That's correct, Commissioner.
And all of that is covered in paragraphs 9, 10, 11, and 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, in those paragraphs of the judgment. Now, you paid the attorneys in September, right? You remember that. If you go to page 2 of that bundle, just to remind you that you paid the attorneys on the 10th of August 2023. You paid Tau Matsimela attorneys. And then again on the 19th of September, you made another payment, but the first payment is in August already, the 10th. This payment was for this litigation, this first payment. I think that was your evidence yesterday.
That's what I answered yesterday, Commissioner.
Yeah, you said you paid this towards this litigation because a decision had already been made that this matter should be litigated.
Yes, that's what I said. And I said the appointment letter was not yet out. Based on the information from the whistleblower, that's when we started to know. That's correct.
Okay. And you said you became aware of the appointment letter when? I think you say in paragraph 7 that, in paragraph 9, rather, of the judgment, they did nothing after, you were criticized for doing nothing after the letter on 11 August 23. And then in your correction, you said the letter, you became aware of it in September.
That's when the letter came tangibly, like being
So
available.
what were you paying the attorneys for?
I said there was information, and as I was speaking, if commissioners can remember yesterday,
yes,
I said the Khotle and this Brown Mahut Foundation, they did the payment after we have requested assistance, and I further said because of the whistleblower who showed that the process, internal process, without the appointment letter, who confirmed that so and so has been appointed. He did that during the month of August. And with that information, whether the lawyers were paid or not, there was no way you could bring an agent application until you get the proof that this so and so has been appointed. That's the reason.
Yes, but you see, the judgment says, your affidavit says you only approached the lawyers in September. It says so in your affidavit.
That's
in the
correct.
Replying,
that's correct.
You say I approach the lawyers in the legal representatives during September.
That's correct.
Once you've got the letter.
Yes, that's correct.
But we know from the payment that already in August you had approached them without the letter.
Yeah, that's correct. But there was no way you could give them full instructions without the appointment letter.
Yes. So it's not correct in your affidavit, in your replying affidavit, where you say where you said to the court that I approached the legal representatives in September, where I say August, it's a mistake, because that's what you said in your affidavit. You said to the court, where in the founding affidavit, I said I approached the lawyers in August. That's a mistake. I, in fact, approached them in September. You remember that's what happened,
I remember.
right? But the proof of payment, that schedule on page 2, shows that you actually approached the lawyers in August already.
But it means when the date that should be considered is when you have full instructions. Whether the money is with the lawyers in January and you get full instructions in June, that's the only time you can be able to go to court. Perhaps in the affidavit, there's only an omission that says we're supposed to have said we approached our legal team when we have full instructions in September. Perhaps that's what should have been said.
You did not tell the court. The point I'm checking with you is the issue of agency was important, and you understood that, because otherwise you would not have been heard, right? If the matter was considered not to be urgent. What I'm putting to you is the court was misled when it was told that you only approached the lawyers in September, when in fact you approached the lawyers in August. We know that from these documents.
It's true, Commissioner, but
Yes.
what would the lawyer do in August if there were no full instructions, Commissioner? There was nothing they could do.
Yes. No, I'm not arguing what would the lawyers do. I'm just clearing the fact of what the court was not told, or in fact what you said you were correcting, is where you had initially been honest with the court that the lawyers were approached in August. And when the issue of urgency was taken up, you then, in your replying affidavit, said, I'm correcting this. In fact, it was in September. So on just the judgment, it looks like, in fact, in another affidavit, which was not about you being a contact or an informer, in an affidavit before court, in an urgent application, you actually misled the court into believing that you approached the lawyers for the first time in September, when in fact you did so in August. That's all I'm establishing with you.
Perhaps, Commissioner, it should be understood properly. The second payment, there is a second payment in September. It shows that the first payment would have been a deposit. And approaching an attorney without full instructions, it's not like there's nothing the attorney will do until all instructions are being paid up and submitted all the evidences. Now, it may be an issue of how lawyers are writing, and the commission should take into cognizance. Commissioners, I do not even have matric myself. And when you have a lawyer who prepares documents for you, you read, and as a layman, a lawyer may still not contextualize things in the understanding of this level. But what we know is the deposit was paid, and that whether approached or not approached, perhaps in front of the court, to approach the court means you must have full instructions. But by then there were no full instructions.
On a separate topic, you also discussed yesterday with Mr. Chaskalson that Mr. Matala provided assistance in this court application.
That's correct.
You remember that?
That's correct.
And we know this court application was in 2023. So you met him before September 2024. You started interacting with him, with Mr. Matala.
Yes, that's correct.
What was the nature of that relationship, such that he comes and advises you on litigation? What was the nature of your relationship?
As business people, commissioners, and he did not come. Remember, we were talking over the phone. And as business people, you can discuss anything. It doesn't require a particular relationship to talk about anything. If we are known, maybe in Durban, being a successful businessman, and you happen to meet, I don't think there is anything wrong if I should call the businessman in Durban and say, hey, we are having this situation. Local businesses or companies are crying, can't you help us? At that time, he only gave us ideas.
So he called you out of the blue
I called
because
him.
you called him.
That's correct, Commissioner.
You knew him from where when you called him? And
From-
I'm asking because until your evidence yesterday, I was under the impression that the first time you had anything to do with him from your evidence was September 24, 2024. And yesterday you conceded that in October already, 2023, you had some dealings with him. So I'm trying to understand the nature of your relationship with him.
There was no any dealings. It's a person that I knew, and that's it. I did not even know. I was not even that much close to him, but I could talk to him, and the issue here was to get assistance on assisting those local business people.
What kind of assistance were you looking for? He's not a lawyer, at least I think. Mr. Mohlahlana is not a lawyer, and you are preparing a court application. What assistance did
I'm
you
not
call
a lawyer.
for?
I'm not a lawyer, Commissioner.
Mm.
But business people came to me requesting me to help them to go to court. It is not about being an attorney or a lawyer. When someone needs or ask or any kind of, when you engage, a person can hear, oh, this person can help me.
So you no, what I'm asking is you called Mr. Matala. I think that's what you've just said now.
That's correct.
And I'm saying, well, he's not a lawyer, so help us understand. Why did you call him, and what were you expecting from a non-lawyer will say to you about an application to court?
Commissioners, I called him, talking to him, and if you tell him of a scenario of what is happening in Mahike in that time, he will just give you some ideas what to do. It's not that you approach him knowing that he has legal background or something. Mare, it is a norm in most of the cases for any businessman to talk to big business people. Like, he's a big businessman. There's nothing wrong to talk to him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesco.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Mkhozi.
Good morning, sir.
I've listened quietly and attentively to your testimony. There's a few things I need to clarify, and I need really short answers because I want to give Mr. Chaskalson his time back. So from 10 o'clock, I'm hoping that he will have his time back. Chair asked you about the oath and whether you consider it binding on your conscience. In the February 2025 affidavit, you give your residential address as Shawelo, Soweto. Have you ever lived in Shawelo, Soweto?
Correctly.
When?
2927 Ngumalo Street, Shawel.
In?
Ngumalo Street, Shawel.
When did you live there?
1990, in the 90s.
So
even this year, we held a funeral at home. It's a home.
In February 2025, you did not live in Shawelo, Soweto.
In 2025?
Yes, February 2025.
That's correct. But
So-
it's also my second home in Johannesburg.
Okay, I will leave it there.
Yeah.
In your affidavit, in your statement at paragraph 15, you say you were an Umkhonto weSizwe operative in 1993.
In the SDU.
Yes.
SDU was the organization in South Africa. I never went outside some countries.
Wait for my question. Were you ever an Umkhonto weSizwe operative?
Yes, in the SDU, that's correct. Umkhonto weSizwe had SDU, Self-Defense Unit.
Do you know that Umkhonto weSizwe was disbanded in 1993?
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes. So, as a 13-year-old, you would have been an Umkhonto weSizwe operative in the SDU in 1993, as a 13-year-old.
No, I was not 13 years old. I know you, Commissioner, you are bringing it on the basis of my birthday era. I was not actually born in 1979. I was born in 1977.
So that's another lie in your affidavit when
No.
you said you were born in August 1979. That's
No,
another lie.
no, Commissioner, it's not a lie. Commissioner, my ID number, my date of birth in the Home Affairs, even my mother knows. I was born in 1977. It is just an error of 1979 from the Home Affairs. And from the Home Affairs Commissioner, we have tried in so many ways to rectify that. But the moment you cannot say, I was born in 1979, and then when someone wants your ID number, then you put 1977.
Mr. Mokgotsi, it's your affidavit which you signed, and you say in that affidavit, I was born in August 1979.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So that is incorrect. You were not born in August 1979.
And I was born, it's not that it's incorrect. I'm saying due to the ID number, my ID number is incorrect from the Home Affairs. From the Home Affairs. And I grew up like that. And actually, I was born in September 1977, 22 September, not August. But the error that came from the Home Affairs, there was no way I could reverse and change it.
Okay, let's move on from that.
Thank you.
Do you have any form of policing training? Formal policing training?
No.
Do you have any form of intelligence gathering training? Any formal training?
Clandestine training, yes. Formal, you mean with qualifications?
Yes.
No.
You don't have qualifications?
No. The training was different.
Do you have any form of qualification that involves forensic investigations?
No.
No. But now you want this commission to believe that in 2020, you were hired to investigate irregularities within crime intelligence.
Commissioner, that is a fact. An irregular, the task was given to me, and for the commission, more clarity. It was not the first time. I just could not put. It's not in the statement. It was not the first time I was tasked to do any mission or a job for the crime intelligence.
What qualifies you to conduct that
My
investigation?
basic training. I have basic training.
Which is what, Mr. Mokgotsi? What is your basic training?
On counterintelligence, crime intelligence, and counterintelligence.
Where did you learn that?
We were more than a team of 10. Commissioners, when you get that training, even the pre-1994 arrangement, as you said, the ANC was disbanded in 1993. You will have a class. You will have a class. You will be sent to do certain things. You will have a class. You'll be sent from one place to another place. You will be tasked, look at this car, look at these people from KZN, or look at whatever that was required. And after that, you will be tasked.
So that is counterintelligence training to look at cars?
No, Commissioner. I don't, Commissioners, I took this opportunity last time together with my lawyers, because now the questions we are posing, as far as I've said I'm an agent, I cannot deliberate more than that. I cannot go deeper and deeper into that on my side. We took senior counsel Churchillson to meet with my handler at the hospital. He explained to him when I was registered and what happened after deregistration. And it's not only him. I also did job with a mission between 2006 and 2008, proper one, with the former divisional commissioner, General Bob Madlanga. As I was saying earlier here, to corroborate information into evidence. If one is allowed, I can bring those
people. Let me interrupt you, Mr. Mokgotsi. I said short answers. I don't want you to go to 2008. I want to give Mr. Cheskalson his time back. Lastly, you said to Chair, you want this commission to believe that you are a contact agent. That's what you said in your response to the Chair. Do you accept that as we are sitting here today, you have not provided this commission with any supporting documents that confirm, wait for the question. You have not supported this commission with any supporting documents that confirm your version that you are conducting investigations as a contact agent. We have nothing in front of us. You say you were in Kenya. We don't have your flight tickets. We don't have the communication between you and the person in Kenya. You say you called him on your cell phone. You say you followed Cathy Mohlahlana to Durban. We don't have your flight tickets. You did not take photos of this place you followed him to. So there's absolutely nothing before us that supports the version that you conducted any of these investigations that you are mentioning. Are you at least prepared to accept that before us as we are sitting here today, other than your statement and your say-so, there are no documents that support the version that you are a contact agent and you conducted these investigations? Yes or no?
The question is very unfair, Commissioner. To say I have nothing, I just said to you, Commissioners, contact agent, you will never find any identity of a contact agent. You will never. In this whole room, I am a state agent. I'm a contact agent. You will never find a document written contact agent. And as I say, I took
Mr. Mokhosi,
senior counsel to the hospital.
Not a document that says contact agent, a document that shows that you conducted these investigations that you claim you were busy with.
No, Commissioners, senior counsel will have to answer on that. He met with my co-handler, and I believe they'll provide my file, because when you work, you report. You give your handler and you report, you give him information, and all that information stays with your handler. There is no way that I can bring papers and give to you. And logically, unless you say, Commissioner, unless Commission has this belief that I just came here to come and impress people. I said, I did section 252A, it is with Ludi Schnell. The commission found it there. I recorded someone and this happened. Commission found it there. I said there is Boko Haram's thing within the crime intelligence. I didn't tell you where to go. I can tell you now that you must go to the analysis department. You will find that thing there. That's how a contact agent works. You cannot find anything written. But I thought because I saw here in this bundle, there is a letter from crime intelligence. I thought we will talk about it. I just don't want to go to it before we get there. I'll answer about it. I'll provide you answers. Okay, you will never get a paper, anything, unless you meet with my co-handler who will provide you with a file.
Mr. Mokhosi, if you're not going to answer the question I'm asking you, maybe let's leave that there. I want to give Mr. Chaskalson his time back.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. In fairness to Mr. Mokhosi, I must confirm that we did interview in a hospital a man describing himself as Mr. Mokhosi's co-handler with the name that has been shown to you. And he did confirm that he had been running Mr. Mokhosi as an agent. We have certain questions we'd like to ask that man, but we're waiting for him to recover from his health condition.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chaskalson.
Mr. Mokhosi, I want to talk today about your signal communications with the minister. And to begin with, I want to put to you the proposition that Signal is a more secure app than WhatsApp. Would you accept that?
It's not. Repeat the question, Constable.
That Signal is a more secure app, secure against against interception than WhatsApp.
It's correct.
And it's an app that is generally used for clandestine communications.
I don't know about it.
Well, you are an agent, are you not?
I know of Telegram.
Telegram.
That's what you are saying. Yes.
Do you use Telegram in your clandestine communications?
It is used, yes.
And I know it is used, but I'm asking, do you use it?
I sometimes use it, correct.
And do you have access to a Telegram account that you could share with the Commission?
Not at the moment.
Why is that?
It's a long time that I did not use it.
So you haven't used Telegram since when?
Depending on the mission, for that particular purpose, I'll use Telegram. If there is nothing related or needed for that top classification information, I will not use it.
When last did you use Telegram?
I can't remember.
Was it this year, last year?
I can't remember.
Mr. Mokhotsi, you must have a broad sense of when last you used Telegram. I mean, maybe at tea time you can open your phone and look at what your Telegram account says.
Yeah, I mean, I can look for it, commissioners. But what I'm saying, and all these phones I knew, you need to know, and there are reasons. There are reasons why one will stop using a certain app. Like in the case of Telegram, there were very few people using it in the network. Everyone will use a WhatsApp or Signal.
So when you stopped using Telegram, what platform did you use for your clandestine messaging?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
That's correct.
But you communicated with the minister on Signal. Was that his choice?
It's not his choice. I also downloaded the Signal because he was using Signal.
Sorry, I didn't hear your first half of that answer. You also
downloaded Signal, but
you downloaded Signal.
Yes, he's using Signal. He was using Signal also.
Yes. Did you download it for the purpose of communicating with the minister?
Not only that, then other few people also.
Do you remember when you downloaded Signal?
I can't remember.
When the minister, did you have Signal on your phone when you first started communicating with the minister?
I really cannot remember, commissioners. You know, I'm saying most of the time I'm using the WhatsApp. And some of the apps, like you are referring to Signal, I don't know if, I believe I downloaded it somewhere last year, the Signal. And as you scroll the phone, you'll start seeing people who are also using Signal. Then that's when you start greeting a person to say, hey, are you on Signal? I'm also on Signal.
But presumably the minister's also on WhatsApp.
That's correct.
Why did you communicate with him on Signal?
We also communicated on WhatsApp. It was not only on Signal. Like I said, when you scroll the phone, you start seeing people who are using Signal.
I understand that, but why did you choose to communicate with the minister on Signal? Why did you send Signal messages to the minister rather than WhatsApps?
You start seeing him using Signal and you greet and say, hello, are you also on Signal? And you start talking. There's no specific reason that we must talk on Signal.
So you use WhatsApp and Signal interchangeably?
That's correct. When I'm just that I don't have Signal anymore also.
And if I understood you correctly, that when you went on to Signal, you realized that the minister was also on Signal, so you reached out to him on Signal.
That's correct.
Can we go to the first Signal text I want to discuss with you? It's at page 52. Page 52 of the Annex bundle.
That's correct.
And we touched on it, I think, 2 days ago. You'll recall just below Monday, December 23, so it's 23 December 2024 that would have been, you sent the minister a message saying, we got a breakthrough. You recall that?
Oh, this is not. Oh, I'm looking at at the wrong bundle. Sorry.
Page 52.
52.
Annexures bundle. I was looking at the exhibits bundle also, Mr. Mokhotsi.
That's correct.
Now, in relation to this breakthrough, can we assume that it related to something that you and the minister had been discussing at the time? Because it would be odd for you just to text the Minister of Police out of the blue to say, we've got a breakthrough. He must have known what you were talking about.
After our engagement commissioners about this chat, I went and checked. I really, in bringing all these chats and pieces together, I cannot really find a way to contextualize this message because I forgot what we were talking about.
So you can't recall what you and the minister were talking about in late December 2024?
I can't remember.
How many conversations did you have with the minister in 2024?
23, Mr. Chancellor.
2024. It's the 23rd of December 2024.
Communications I had with the minister.
I mean, how regularly were you talking about with the minister that you can't recall what you were talking about?
Yeah, we would talk not so many times, but with this one, because I remember we were talking over the phone, but we got a breakthrough. I can't remember what was this about.
What topics did you discuss with the minister when you spoke to him in that period when you were speaking to him?
It will be, you mean the period that we are here?
I'm talking about, if I understood your version, and I think it broadly tallies with that of the minister and the chief of staff, you were in touch with him from, I think it was September 2024, they say, and we've seen that communication ran on, at least through Signal, into January 2025. What sort of topics were you addressing with the minister?
It will be political topics, except the other message that I sent to him regarding what we discussed last time here about the constitutional court judgment. But the other time we'll only talk about political things.
You see, Ms. Poy has pointed out to me that when we asked you this question, when you were discussing this text 2 days ago, you said it was about Stilfontein. There was a breakthrough in Stilfontein.
In the one about the Stilfontein, we're talking about the arrest. When he asked, was the arrest effected? If you remember, I said, there I can still remember we were talking about the Stilfontein.
But this breakthrough wasn't about Stilfontein that you can remember.
I could have said if it was, because me and him, at that time, we were talking about a community meeting which was held at Stilfontein, and the community were looking for that suspect, and he was never arrested. So I can't remember this breakthrough. What was it about?
You see, yesterday the chief of staff of the minister was in Parliament, and he was also just talking about Stilfontein. Everyone was talking about Stilfontein. Did you see the evidence of the Stilfontein from the chief of staff?
I can't hear the question, Commissioner.
The chief of staff was in Parliament, the minister's chief of staff, Mr. Nkabinde. He was testifying at Parliament yesterday. And when he was asked about the this contact that you had, and in particular meetings you had with the minister, everything was about Stilfontein.
Yes, I didn't hear him, but yes, the minister was in Stilfontein, and I was also there.
You see, I want to put to you that you know that this breakthrough had nothing to do with Stilfontein. It had to do with something else.
Unless commissioners, you know what is that? Now I can't remember.
Well, let me take you through the chats. Let's start with this one. We've got a breakthrough. Can you see the time of that chat?
Yes, I can see it.
Monday, the 23rd of December, what time?
10:34.
I'd like you to take that page and the next page out of the file so that you can keep them on one side.
Yes, I can see them.
Got page 52 and 53 out of the file.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually want you to take them out the file because I'm going to take you somewhere else in the file, and I want you to be able to look at both at the same time.
Kate.
Absolutely. Good. Because this is a rare situation where we actually know what you were doing on the 23rd of December at 10:34. Can you go to page 45? And at the top of the page, you will see at exactly the same time, 23rd of December, 2024, 10:34, you were on the phone. You, in fact, called Cathy Mohlahlana. You called him at 10:34:40, but the call may not have gone through because at 10:34:59, Cathy Mohlahlana called you back.
That's correct.
And then at 10:35, you texted him iPad guy name. Does that help you remember what the breakthrough was?
No, it doesn't go together this one. Because even when he said iPad guy, when I wanted the name of the iPad guy, he never gave me that name. And that's even if he had given me, would probably say that was the breakthrough. But he never gave me the name.
Sorry, Mr. Mokhotsi, I must ask you to answer these questions as an honest witness, not as an operative trying to pursue an operation at this point. You texted the minister at 10:34. And you texted the minister saying, we got a breakthrough.
That's correct.
At 10:34, you had just come off a call, two calls in fact, to Mr. Mohlahlana.
That's correct.
And after you texted the minister at 10:34, less than a minute after, because 10:35 exactly, you text back to Mr. Mohlahlana, iPad guy name.
That's correct. But you see, in this situation, it happens to everyone. When you are chatting with someone and then you receive another call, when you answer that call, the particular person will start chatting to you. It has nothing to do with the breakthrough, unless if the iPad guy's name was given to me and I say, yes, we've got a breakthrough. It was not.
Mr. Mokhotsi, I have to put to you that your answer in this regard is false, but let's go through the texts.
Okay.
Let's go back to page 52 to see what happens later on the 24th of December, on the 23rd of December. The minister calls you back at 11:23. Do you often get called by the minister?
Commissioner?
Do you often get called by the minister?
Yeah, you do call me, but you'll find that if we have spoken that day and we continue what we're talking about, probably you'll then call me.
I see. He really seemed to want to get hold of you because he called you twice.
That's correct.
Called you again at 14:49.
That's correct.
And you still can't recall what he was calling about.
I thought, Commissioner, I can't recall. I thought you'll go to the 24th and he asked me about the arrest. You see, if...
Sorry, Mr. Mkhotsi, I must ask you to answer these questions as they... You can't recall.
Yes.
Let me help you again. Go back to page 45. The minister has called you at 14:49. You've had a conversation with him, apparently.
Who called me Matlala?
No. Go to 52, or you can look behind you at 52, or look to your left at 52. And you'll see that there's an incoming call from the minister at 14:49.
That's correct.
And then 7 minutes later, if we go back to page 45,
right,
we see that you've sent Mr. Matlala this message at 10:35 saying iPad guy name, and he hasn't come back to you.
That's
correct. So 7 minutes after the minister calls you, you send him another message. My brother, any news from iPad?
Yes, I can see that. Yeah, that's correct.
Why were you so anxious to get iPad news from Mr. Matlala? Was it that you didn't want to disappoint the minister?
No, the minister did not want the iPad guy. It is me who wanted the iPad guy. It is me who was pushing Cat to give me the iPad guy. And I'm still repeating, commissioners, unless if I send a message, we got a breakthrough, on the other side, we find that Cat has given me the iPad guy's name. Probably that would be the iPad, that would be the breakthrough. That's what would relate to the message of the breakthrough.
But then, sorry, I'm not understanding your answer. Are you saying that the breakthrough would be a breakthrough if Cat had told you who the iPad guy was?
I'm saying the message that you say, I remember, and it is linked to my communication with Cat and the minister, would have made sense that the portion where I say we got a breakthrough would have made sense, because you imply that I was looking for the iPad guy, simultaneously I was talking to the minister, with our communication differs in seconds. If there was a breakthrough, it means it would have been that iPad guy. So it is not, and I cannot remember this message.
Well, let me suggest you another breakthrough that there may have been. You may have been told that there are grounds to arrest members of the PKTT for assaulting, allegedly assaulting Mr. Matlala when they arrested him on the 6th of December. And you may have reported that to the minister as a breakthrough.
Probably that would be a prophecy from somewhere.
That could be.
Maybe someone prophesizing. It's not that.
You did by this stage know that Mr. Matlala was alleging that he had been assaulted, he and his wife had been assaulted on the 6th of December.
Yes, I did. And even if those people could have been arrested, there was no need for me to tell the minister.
I see. Well, let's look at the texts again. You've asked Mr. Matlala, still on the 23rd of December at 14:46, my brother, any news from iPad?
That's correct.
Don't get a reply from him, so you call him at 15:39 on that day.
That's correct.
Why would you be calling him? You also called him at 15:40, we see lower down.
And then, me and Kate were talking.
You've asked him twice for details of an iPad guy early in the day and he hasn't got back to you.
Yes.
Will you accept that the probabilities are that when you're calling him, you're looking for that iPad guy?
No, there won't be. it would have been the possibility, but if I don't remember, I don't remember. But I'm still saying I was looking for the iPad guy, and the possibility may be that, of course, I was looking for the iPad guy. But it's not easy to convey a message verbally to someone on those things. It's easy to say any iPad guy because I wanted the name, so I would want him probably to type it or to get something tangible.
So, and he hasn't yet told you who the iPad guy is.
He didn't tell me. You'll see in our chats, in some of the chats, he do acknowledges that the iPad guy could not help him and he was not brave enough. It's written in one of the messages. Yeah, there we go. On page 47, he said, on page 47, if you go there, I asked him, iPad guy can be a breakthrough. It's me saying that.
We'll come to that in due course.
And he answered, there's a bit of a hurdle there, but I'll fill you in. And I said, will it work? It never worked.
Mr. Mokotsi, we'll get to, I promise you'll have an opportunity to explain that, chat, because the word that you use calls for some explanation. But we'll get there in due course. I want to take this chronologically.
Oh.
Let's see what the next stage of these proceedings is. On the 24th of December, if we go back to page 53 and your WhatsApps to the minister, you see on Tuesday, the 24th of December at 1919, it's the minister who's initiating contact again, and he says, was the arrest effected?
This I remember.
And what do you say this was?
In the Stilfontein.
We're back with Stilfontein now.
That's correct.
Okay, I want to put it to you that that's false, and you know it's false.
It's not false, it's true. It's me who was talking to the minister. There's no way you can know that.
Sorry, no one was talking to the minister here. This was the minister texting you.
Yes, I'm saying it is me who was chatting with him. And it's me who was in contact with him. There is no way a third person can say, I'm lying, it's not true. We're talking about something else. It's true what is that you see here.
Let's see how you respond to the minister. Well, first of all, we see that you did actually respond. Can we just stay on 53? There was a response that you sent on Tuesday, December the 24th. We can see the top, that little blue line at the top represents a message that would have come from you, but we can't see what its content was because it's obscured by the sign that says signal message. So we know you responded, and that you responded on Tuesday, December the 24th. We just don't know what you said.
Yeah, I can see, but I believe you, commissioners, this is most downloadable from the IPs, from the iPhone 16. It's supposed to come out clear. I don't know why is it like this.
Sorry, Mr. Mokotsi, this is a screenshot that you yourself took of your communications with the minister, then WhatsApped it to Mr. Mokotsi, Mr. Mohlahlana.
No, I know I'm Mr. Mohlahlana at the moment. Yeah, but I responded there, as you say, but I know we're talking about the Stilfontein.
You know you're talking about Stilfontein now.
I can't hear the question.
You know now that that was about Stilfontein.
About the arrest. That's correct.
Who was arrested in Stilfontein?
It was, like I said, they were looking for a suspect after a community meeting, and he asked me if there was the arrest was. Then I called him. I also called him, I remember, to say there was no any arrest.
Of course, if we had access to your signal chats, all of this would be resolved, but it seems that you no longer have access to your signal.
You know, during our interaction with your office, one of the investigators told me that I should do certain things to access and talk to whoever I did. I'm going to try to I know there's going to be cross examinations and all those things. I'll try to get these things also.
You'll
And
try
by
to
the way,
reconstruct your Signal account.
yeah, and by the way, there is a process. I believe that Cathy Mohlahlana's phone and there is going to be those messages will be re-downloaded. Perhaps at some stage we'll get all these messages.
No, but what we're looking at here is not something that any re-downloading of Cathy Mohlahlana's phone will ever help us with, because this is a screenshot of your Signal communications that you sent to Mr. Mohlahlana.
Okay, Commissioners, I'll try. I'll go out there and see how do I get the signal. I'll try my best because it will also help me.
It would help you to have your Signal back.
No, in these proceedings, like these messages which one cannot answer, there won't be a time where someone say, I'm putting to you that you were talking about something. If the signal can work, that statement will not come again.
A Signal would help both of us, I suspect.
That's correct.
Before we leave this text, the Minister says, was the arrest effected? That's quite formal language. Is that how the Minister speaks?
I don't know the formal and informal. Commissioners, I did tell you, I do not have formal. I'm not matriculated, and I cannot literally say if this is formal and this is not formal.
Well, he isn't saying were they arrested or did they make an arrest. He's saying was the arrest effected?
On the keeping of the Stelfontein, whom the community was looking for.
Can you give us some details of this Stilfontein arrest that has now loomed so large? Who was the suspect? Was the suspect ever arrested?
I don't know anymore, but
sorry, you don't know anymore.
Yes, I've not been following that since.
So we can assume that in December 2024, the suspect wasn't arrested.
No, that time was not arrested. Yeah. I'm just saying ever since this July 6, all our lives have changed.
And I can understand that, but I'm very curious about these Stilfontein stories that we keep hearing about. Who was the suspect? What was the suspect alleged to have done?
That king of the Zamazamas who was arrested and escaped from custody. The community was willing and they were trying to show some leads where to find the person.
Right, but that person was never arrested.
To date, I cannot confirm, but that time he was not arrested.
So when you sent a text to the minister saying you had a breakthrough, it didn't relate to the arrest of the king of the Zamazamas because he's still at large.
Yeah, just what I was saying. If it was, I would have said yes, it was the Zamazamas because the person was arrested. So since there was no any arrest effected, I cannot link the two messages.
So the breakthrough wasn't about the Zamazamas?
No, I can't remember. It was not about.
There was some other breakthrough that you can't recall?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Let's follow that chronology a bit further. Now, we need to go back to page 46. And we see on page 46 two things, which is before the ministers texted you at 1919, you've called Mr. Mohlahlana at 1405.
No, but I don't see where you say the minister called me. Is it the same?
No, remember the minister calls you. The minister texts you on Signal before the minister texts you on Signal.
Yes, but that means it's the separate two pages that you said I should keep separate.
Yes, your communications with the minister are on pages 52 and 53.
That's correct. I have it.
So on the 24th at 1405, you'd had an audio call with Mr. Mohlahlana. The minister then asks about whether an arrest has been effected at 19 hours 19, that's page 53. and nothing comes back from Mr. Mohlahlana. But you end up calling him at 3 minutes past 11 on Christmas Eve.
Calling who, Commissioner?
Mr. Mohlahlana. Was that because you were very anxious to find out about the iPad guy because you wanted to give the minister a Christmas present?
Commissioners, I don't know how will this be understood well that the two messages, the two communications between myself and the minister and myself and Kat do not really apply to the messages of Minister Senj. And about the Christmas present, I don't know of a Christmas present.
I see. Yeah. Let's see what happens on Christmas Day. If we go down to 8:42, that's just almost 8:45 on Christmas morning, you send Mr. Mohlahlana a WhatsApp. Good day, bro. I believe it was a misdial, sorry. 1 iPad. So on Christmas Day, you are still badgering Mr. Mohlahlana to give you details about iPad.
Yeah, that's correct.
We go down a little bit. In fact, over the page. All the way down to 9:18 on Christmas Day on page 47. You got that?
Time?
9:18. Sort of towards the bottom of page 47.
Yes, I see.
You got it?
Yes,
you send Mr. Mohlahlana a message, and the message says, iPad can be a breakthrough.
That's correct.
Does that word breakthrough ring a bell?
To get the iPad, remember, I think that should be read together with page 46, where I say, good day, brah, Christmas 0842. I believe it was a misdial, sorry. Then 1, iPad. 2, court case date. 3, 25%, we may lose accommodation and flight packages. It must be read with that. So I knew that when he can get the iPad person, it will help him to deal with the police, those handled his wife and everything. But particularly for me, I wanted to know the iPad person.
Why did you want to know the iPad person?
Because he could do wonders. The way he told me he could deal with, it was his connection, and I wanted to know him, and he was telling me that guy can do wonders, can arrest.
And what would these wonders do to advance your operation?
Is to know this particular pit guy who's able to perform his duties so wonderfully, instructed by this private person.
I see. Let's follow the chats. You say iPad can be a breakthrough.
That's correct.
Was it just a coincidence that you used breakthrough in your text to the minister a couple of days earlier and breakthrough there?
Yeah, it's a coincidence.
Unfortunate coincidence.
Question, Commissioner?
An unfortunate coincidence.
Yeah, it's a coincidence.
I see. What happens later is you've texted 9:18. Mr. Mohlahlana says at 9:18, there's a bit of a hurdle there, but I'll fill you in. You text back at 10:32, will it work? And he says at 10:54, needs someone brave enough.
That's correct. It means that iPad guy couldn't do it, and he ended up not giving the name of the iPad guy, but the man was not brave enough.
I see. So we didn't have an iPad, a guy who was brave enough. Let's go down the chat until we get to 27 December, the day that you forward him the minister's exchange. Page 52. You got it?
I got it. It's the one I have in my hand.
Indeed. On the 27th of December, you send Mr. Mohlahlana your exchange with the minister about breakthroughs and whether arrests were affected. You follow that?
I can't follow.
What you have in your hand, pages 52 and 53, is a screenshot of your signal chat to the minister that you sent to Mr. Mohlahlana on the 27th of December at 12:01. You'll see the date when you sent it to Mr. Mohlahlana if you go to the top of page 52.
That's correct.
So you have a screenshot of your signal account with the minister. Take a screenshot, you forward it to Mr. Mohlahlana on WhatsApp on the 27th of December at 12:01.
That's correct.
And what you're forwarding to him is this
thing of Stilfontein.
Well, you say it's a thing of Stilfontein. What it says is we got a breakthrough and was the arrest affected?
Yeah, but this.
And then 4 minutes after you, sorry, not 4 minutes, 12:05. 4 minutes after you've sent it to him, you send him a one-word message that says iPad.
That's correct.
Why did you send that one-word message iPad to him straight after forwarding him the minister's?
No, I was going back to the discussion, our discussion about the iPad, but I can tell you why did this message go to him of the Stilfontein. Then the police who released, let's start my work again. The police who were charged for the escape of that Kimping, which we were looking for. There was a case and they were charged. And one of these police is based here in Pretoria. And this, as I was talking, maybe this one, I can't remember, but we were talking, me and Kate, on the phone. And he told me, you know, I've got a guy. This guy can help us, because I was telling him about that guy, because the one of them who was charged staying in Pretoria, and he felt that that guy wanted to tell the truth.
Sorry, can I just clarify what you're saying now? That
Yes.
Mr. Mohlahlana had told you that he knew this guy,
who was one of the police officers who were charged for the escape of the Kimping.
Of allowing the kingpin to escape.
Yes, that one.
Is this the same story as that operation? Sorry, hang on a minute. The operation with Colonel Maluleke that you did with the Nkabis that won you the trust of General Sibia, or is it a different situation?
No, this is a different situation. We are talking about, yes, the person we wanted to have, the Kimping who ran away. Now, this Kimping who ran away, commissioners, we could not get him. Now, I reached to Madlanga that, you know, we are looking for this and this and this person. The police allowed, or they ganged or whatever, but they teamed up to have this man escaped. And he said, indeed, there's one guy also from here who was working there. I think he may know how this whole thing happened.
You see, what's odd about this explanation is there's not the faintest hint of it in any of the WhatsApps that we see between yourself and Mr. Mohlahlana, which traverse a very wide range of subjects, but never touch on Stilfontein at all.
Yeah, but we would also talk over the phone, because that was now when I was talking to him over the phone.
I see. So you're suggesting that it's just another unfortunate coincidence that when you send the minister's communication to you, to Mr. Matlala, you just happened, unfortunately, to follow it up with a one-line message saying IPID. That message was sent 4 minutes later.
Yeah, but iPad has always been our story, me and Matlala. And I told him that we are looking for this particular guy. And some of the information he provided about this police officer who was charged could not actually help us at the end of the day. We couldn't find that man. And this, like, for the commission's knowledge, information, those police who were charged, they are still, I think their disciplinary hearings have just been concluded. I'm not sure, since July 6th.
Let's follow the chats. 12:05, you say IPID.
That's correct.
You get a response about 20 minutes later from Mr. Matlala, who says, let me know when you get back.
That's correct.
12:31, you say, what does the guy need? And then you say, I'm heading to Cape Town for January the 8th at 12:32. And then Mr. Matlala writes back to you at 12:37. The case needs to have assault for him to effect arrest.
That's correct.
He uses that same phrase, effect arrest. Is that another coincidence?
That's correct. Well, that's an English word, eh? Which is
It is an English word. It's quite a formal way of describing the process of arresting someone.
Yeah, but this cat, I couldn't tell him what to write and how not to write. It's an English word.
So it's another one of these inexplicable, unfortunate coincidences that he just happens to use the same formal language as the minister does when he comes to describing the process of arrest.
No, probably not like the minister does. Maybe he just because he just copied maybe from what I sent him, or it's an English that came to him that time. It's just an English word.
I see, because he then goes on to use what sounds like his own English when he says he's saying he can't do arrest if there's no J88 to prove assault.
That's correct.
And my wife is not keen to open up an assault case. The guards who were assaulted at my house only coming back in January, they went home for Christmas.
That's correct. May I add something here, Commissioner? The formal way of writing, you see, if you can check how I write and how Cat writes, usually the case needs to have, yes, if he types his sentences in full, he like typing formally. That's how he types, unlike me. So his English is very, very formal.
Is he can't do arrest a formal description in the sentence that's typed in full?
I can't understand the question, Commissioner.
You're saying when he types in full, he likes to use formal English, but in this paragraph where he types in full, first he says the case needs to have assault for him to effect arrest, mirroring exactly what the minister said. And then he says he's saying he can't do arrest if there's no J88. Is do arrest a formal, Mr. Matlala's usual formal style for typing out long sentences?
Yeah, but this is how it's written. I don't know if commissioners, was he expected to repeat effect arrest so that the English could be proper?
You were the one who said he writes formally when he writes in long sentences.
Yeah, and formally, commissioners cannot repeat the sentence, the words. Like here, he doesn't even say to open a case. If it's me, I would write 2 in a number. And I'll open up an assault case. I would have just said a criminal or a case. But I'm trying to show you that he even put a comma. That's very formal way of writing. Comma, the guards who were assaulted at my house. Everything is formal, how he types.
You see, Mr. Mohlahlana, what I'm going to put to you is that it is absolutely clear from these chats that what you and the minister were discussing on 23 and 24 December was the possible arrest of PKTT members by IPID in relation to the events during the 6 December operation at Mr. Mohlahlana's house.
No, that was not the discussion. That was not the discussion. It cannot be that I can discuss the arrest of these PKTT members with the minister. And to be clear with you, I know who can arrest and who has that power to arrest the PKTT. I cannot even think that I can rely on Matlala to get me IPID guy to arrest this guy. I wanted the IPID guy. So the notion that you are saying is totally not true.
Why did you want the IPID guy?
Because they said he can do wonders. And the wonders meaning he could. And I wanted to know who this person. It was not the first time I hear about him. It was not the first time.
So what were you hoping to achieve through the IPID guy?
After I got him.
Who did you want the IPID guy to arrest?
No, I did not want that. I was not interested in how the IPID will arrest those people. I wanted to know the IPID guy.
Why did you want to know an IPID guy?
This for my investigation, for my own operation.
For what purpose?
Purpose will never be understood, Commissioner. I wanted this particular guy.
This particular IPID guy?
That's correct.
The one who Mr. Mohlahlana had been speaking to at a certain stage?
That's correct.
What was so special about that guy?
Commissioners, you know, I know IPID people. I know a lot of them. I interacted with even the investigators. I know a lot of them. I did not need Mohlahlana to help me find an IPID person who can effect any arrest. I said I wanted the IPID guy for my own purpose, for whatever that I wanted him for. Not what you are implying that we were planning that the IPID should arrest the PKTT members.
But why then would IPID be a breakthrough in your own words?
I don't understand from the message that I said.
You send a message, IPID can be a breakthrough.
I remember when you talked to Mohlahlana, I wanted the IPID guy. He wanted him to assist him to arrest people who assaulted his wife. For me to support him, I must keep on saying, I must get this IPID guy to get you these people.
And what was going to be so special about this one IPID guy, as opposed to all of the other IPID guys you know?
See, I'm not at liberty to tell. I'll be opening another camp as to what this particular IPID guy do, according to Mohlahlana.
Right. Well, I put it to you that your version here is transparently false, but I'm not going to take it further.
Mr. Nelson, are you leaving this chat?
I'm leaving this chat, but I'm moving on to other signal chats, which will cast further light on it.
I just need the witness to clarify. Mr. Mokhosi, whose arrest were you discussing with Mr. Mohlahlana in the last chat on page 53? Because it does refer to somebody's arrest, and it says the wife is not willing to open an assault case. The guards who were assaulted at my house are only coming back in January. So whose arrest are you discussing in this chat?
The people who went to his house.
The PKTT.
Those that went to his house and harassed him.
The PKTT. Yes or no?
Yes. If it was the PKTT, yes, that's correct.
Thank
you. Well, you will recall later on that when you send Mr. Mohlahlana news of the disbandment decision, you say the people who harassed you, that unit's been disbanded.
Yes, Edmund.
So it was the PKTT people you were looking to have arrested.
Yes.
Can we then go to the next text, which also seems to be a text to the minister from you targeting the PKTT and its leadership? Can we go to page 57?
57.
57. And on the 31st of December at 11:18, you forward to Mr. Mohlahlana a screenshot of another message that you have sent to the minister. And that we discussed this message yesterday. It's a message that refers to a Constitutional Court judgment on 20 December 2024, the Makala judgment. And you say to the minister, Minister, I'm going to get the case number and this judgment for you. Now we've got something proven by the court. This is the matter now which either Sibia or the minister can charge Khumalo and apply Rule 9 of the disciplinary hearing. It took the Constitutional Court to release a man who was sentenced to life imprisonment through a forced Section 204 confession. Imagine, Comrade Sensel, after 30 years of democracy having this kind of policing. The good thing now is that these are not allegations, but a court judgment. We discussed this briefly again yesterday. And can you just run us through your reasoning as to why this would afford a basis for the charging of General Khumalo?
As we were discussing yesterday, I did say the head of the PKTT should account or take responsibility if this has been decided by the court.
Who told you about this case?
Commissioner?
Who told you about this case, this judgment?
I can't remember where I saw it, but I can't remember who sent me that court charge. It was on the news, I think. This was on the news on the 24th.
Do you know that there's not a single mention of the PKTT or, in fact, General Khumalo in the judgment?
Yeah, I was informed here yesterday by Madam Commissioner. And I thought it was the PKTT.
You thought it was PKTT?
Yes.
Why did you think the minister would be interested in the idea of charging General Khumalo arising from this judgment, assuming you were right that it was the PKTT?
And I did not think he'll be interested. I was just showing him my view that time, of which I even found it that it is probably the National Commissioner or whoever who can charge them, not the minister.
What's interesting about what you write to the minister is well, there are at least two features of what you write to him that I would submit are interesting. The first is you say you're going to get the case number and this judgment for you. Now we got something proven by the court. Who's the we?
Me and people, whoever sent me that thing, and even when we speak, actually, me and the person who sent me that thing will refer to ourselves as we, and even me when I speak to the minister, I may end up saying we.
So we includes the minister, I would have thought. If you write to someone or if you say to someone we, have this, or we should do that. You're saying that person and yourself are the we.
No, not in this one.
So this was not.
If the message talks about democracy and after 30 years, we means the people of South Africa, means the public.
So this is like the royal we.
Yeah, no, yes.
You're speaking on behalf of the whole South African nation.
No, whoever who has this particular interest that someone is being acquitted after being sentenced to life, those that see this as an achievement.
But why would you write to the minister about this?
The minister, irrespective of for which department, even if this was in relation to minerals, I would write to the Minister of Minerals. If it was about sports, he would write to the Minister of Sports.
On his personal Signal account?
On any platform where you are able to find him.
Then you say, this is the matter now which either Sibiya or the minister can charge Khumalo and apply Rule 9 of the disciplinary hearing. So you're suggesting to the minister that he should discipline General Khumalo?
As a public, yes, as a South African, I was not the first person to suggest. Where we want accountability, you will even say, Minister, fire these people, or Minister, do this.
But you're not an ordinary member of the public in relation to the minister, Mr. Mokhotsi. You're someone who the minister has been phoning on several occasions on WhatsApp, on Signal.
As a comrade, and it should not be misconceived that if someone is a comrade and you being a comrade, the moment he becomes a minister, is no more a comrade. You still call him, he'll still call you.
And in your testimony a few minutes ago, you said it may be the National Commissioner to do the disciplining. But in this message, you didn't mention the National Commissioner, you mentioned Sibiya. Why did you mention Sibiya?
I don't know why I mentioned Sibiya, but I mentioned it.
Come now, Mr. Mokhotsi. You do know why you mentioned Sibiya. Why would you have mentioned Sibiya?
Commissioners, if you know why I mentioned him, please be at liberty to tell the commission why.
I'm not saying I know, I'm saying that you know.
When you say I know, it means you know that I know.
Why on earth would you mention a deputy national commissioner in relation to the discipline of General Khumalo? What could General Sibiya have anything? What relevance could General Sibiya have to the disciplinary process?
No, I understand the question. Sorry for wasting Commission's time. The Deputy National Commissioner of Detection is, we like using the word the boss to both the Divisional Commissioner of Intelligence, General Khumalo. He is the immediate supervisor, he is the immediate person above him.
So you're saying that General Khumalo reports to General Sibiya?
Definitely.
Well, I think you're wrong in that regard. Is that what you thought?
I'm not wrong.
You are wrong. It's not a debate that we need to have with you. It's a legal fact that we can debate at the end of this commission.
Okay, may I clarify this to the commission? The Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence is accountable to the DNC, to the Deputy National Commissioner.
Who told you this? Is that what General Sibiya told you when in your meetings with him when he was handling your operation?
No, I know.
Is it what your handlers told you?
It's I can even say it's my handler, but I know that the Deputy National Commissioner is above the Divisional Commissioner. They are both Lieutenant Generals, but this one is a Divisional Commissioner. The Deputy National Commissioner is above the Divisional Commissioner.
It's not a debate that I want to have with you, but I do want to know where you get that view.
It's not a view. The only person who's above the Deputy National Commissioner is the National Commissioner. And underneath the Deputy National Commissioner is the Divisional Commissioner.
Well, let's leave that there. I just want to find out from you, was the minister receptive to your suggestion that General Khumalo should be charged arising out of the Makala judgment?
It was quite clear even on the message, he did not even respond to me.
No, it's not clear on the message that he did not respond. We don't know what happened in your signal communications with the minister, because this is the only piece of the screenshot we see.
Now, I know he did not respond.
So he didn't respond at all to this message?
He never responded.
But he did respond to other messages later?
Like I say, he did not respond to this particular message.
I see. We do know, however, and we'll get to it in due course, that he asked his chief of staff to set up a meeting for you on the 3rd of February at a later stage.
The legislature.
The chief of staff testified yesterday, having looked at the minister's diary, that the minister had tasked him to set up a meeting for you and the minister on the 3rd of February.
Or with some comrades, that's correct.
Right. We'll get to that meeting a little later. Chair, I think I've run over time here.
On the top stories, Mokgotsi called out on not valuing his oath at the Madlanga Commission and concerns over the killing of a school principal in Tembisa. For SAFM News, I'm Onde Lambana, and a very good morning. The cross-examination of Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi got off to a heated start at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning. This as Chairperson Mbuyiseli Madlanga put it to Mokgotsi that he does not value his oath. Justice Madlanga's comments come as Mokgotsi was caught in a lie yesterday when he misrepresented himself in an affidavit stating that he works for the office of the police minister. But Mokgotsi has responded that the questions being put to him are suppressing him.
Commissioner, will I be allowed to say something?
Can you just answer the question?
Yes.
Did you consider that oath to be binding on your conscience?
For the purpose of the mission I was undertaking, Commissioner, it was the only way to execute that mission.
And can you now answer the question directly? Okay, thank you, I hear you. Can you answer the question directly? Did you consider that oath to be binding on your conscience? Yes or no? You've given an explanation. Now I want a direct answer to my question.
The Gauteng Provincial Legislature's Portfolio Committee on Community Safety has expressed outrage and concern over the brutal shooting of a school principal and a staff member in Tembisa, Ekurhuleni. The incident occurred at Ngweni Primary School on Tuesday afternoon. The committee has condemned the senseless attack, emphasizing that schools should be safe spaces for learning and development. Committee Chairperson Bandile Masuku.
The committee therefore urges strict compliance with gun control laws and and calls on law enforcement agencies in Gauteng to intensify their efforts to remove illegal firearms from communities and dismantle the network that supply them. We call for strengthened coordinated action, which is essential for the province to move closer to the vision of gun-free society.
A 9-year-old boy has been shot multiple times in Vegheskraal in Athlone, Cape Town. Police spokesperson Wesley Twigg says that an unknown suspect had opened fire on a man walking in the street and the child was hit by stray bullets. He says the suspect fled the scene.
According to reports, the victim was walking in the road when an unknown suspect opened fire on him. The victim sustained a gunshot wound to his leg and was taken to a medical facility for treatment. Further investigation revealed that the 9-year-old boy was caught in the crossfire and sustained gunshot wounds to his body. The victim was taken to a medical facility for treatment. The suspect fled the scene and is yet to be arrested. The motive for the attack is yet to be determined.
Walter Sisulu University Council Chairperson Tembeka Ngcukaitobi has criticized what he calls an unequal funding model that keeps historically black universities at a permanent disadvantage compared to their historically white counterparts. Advocate Ngcukaitobi says chronic underfunding is at the heart of Walter Sisulu's financial crisis. He warned that without structural reform, institutions like Walter Sisulu University will continue to collapse. The institution briefed the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education yesterday on its state of governance, administration, as well as teaching and learning. Ngcukaitobi elaborates.
The concern about financial sustainability is a historical concern. It comes as a result primarily of the funding formula. The funding formula in this country continues to discriminate against black institutions. And that is why we have asked in all our encounters, and Dr. Sotiko is nothing, but she will on every time she has come to this. We've raised with her the continuing discrimination against black institutions through the funding formula.
Police and various law enforcement agencies are monitoring traffic around the Gautrain station in Sandton, Johannesburg. This as traffic volumes are expected to peak as delegates and visitors flock into the country for the G20 Leaders Summit. Police have been stationed at various points to ensure safety and maintain order. Nomtsikelelo Mtabela reports.
A few days ago, the South African Police Service actioned out a dry run of how the safety of delegates and visitors will be maintained throughout the G20 Leaders Summit. The G20 Leaders Summit will bring together heads of states from various countries to discuss economical, political, and social initiatives. Law enforcement authorities have confirmed that safety of delegates remains a top priority. I'm Nomtsikelelo Mtabela, SABC News in Sandton.
Recapping the top story, the cross-examination of Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi got off to a heated start at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning. This as Chairperson Mbuyiseli Madlanga put it to Mokhotsi that he does not value his oath. I am on Lambana for SAFM News.
When love turns to hate and hate turns to violence, the truth is never simple. In Love and Hate Crime Season 2, real stories expose the dark side of human emotion, where identity, passion, and prejudice collide. Powerful, unflinching, unforgettable. These are the crimes that challenge what we think we know about love and humanity. Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on S3. S3, open up. Yes.
The 19th Annual Chief Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture will be delivered by the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday, the 20th of November 2025, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the MH Yusuf Hall, Westville Campus, University of KwaZulu-Natal. The theme for this year's lecture will be Reflecting on the Work of the World Trade Organization and its Global Impact. This will be a hybrid event streamed live on the University of KwaZulu-Natal's YouTube platform, as well as the Luthuli Museum Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tune in to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda, coming to you live from the lecture. The annual Luthuli Museum Lecture is a partnership event between the Luthuli Museum, Luthuli Foundation, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. For more information, contact Zinhle Nyembe on 032 559 6824 or email profficer@luthulimuseum.org.za or Pam Adams on adamsp@ukzn.ac.za. Visit www.luthulimuseum.org.za.
Hi, my name is Kutlwana Masote, your host of Weekend Sundowner Classics every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. exclusively on SAFM. Now, this is where you get your best classical music jams on any radio platform. Join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon between 4 and 7 p.m. Weekend Sundowner Classics.
Doing the right thing just got more rewarding from the 1st of November to the 31st of December. When you pay your SABC TV license, we'll say thank you with a 50 Rand grocery voucher and more. It's our way of celebrating you for helping us to keep local stories and talent alive. Pay, wait for your SMS, and follow the instructions to claim your reward. Make sure your contact details are up to date so we can send your prize straight to you. TV licenses, pay yours, make a difference.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Reigning champions, the Reds, believe a win at Anfield always brings great euphoria to their fanatics.
He find a cross. He's down to Ekatike, and Kirkes has given Liverpool a lifeline. His first Liverpool goal, and it could be vital just before the break.
While the Trick-or-Treats are searching for a top-of-the-range strategy to defeat the Reds.
Oh, driven in by Nico Williams. Well, it may have taken Liverpool 95 minutes to break Burnley down.
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling contest between Liverpool FC versus Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 22 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
SAFM commemorates Disability Rights Awareness Month under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy, Creating Strategic, Multi-Sectoral Partnerships for a Disability-Inclusive Society. SAFM supports and works tirelessly towards equity and equality for those with disabilities. Empowerment is key. Let us break the barriers and improve the quality of life for those with disabilities. Our efforts towards a better life for those with disabilities can only be impactful when we do so together. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Disability Awareness Month 2025 on SAFM 104 to 107 FM nationwide, leading the conversations that move us.
South Africa is taking its place on the world stage at the B20 and G20 Summits 2025. Telkom is proud to stand with the nation, building a digital future that reaches every community. Through reliable fiber, mobile and cloud networks, we're connecting families, small businesses and young people to new opportunities. We're helping drive digital public infrastructure so services are easier to access for all. Telkom, the digital backbone of South Africa's future. Vibrant, energetic. All right, so here we go. This summer, tap 2 to be Poolside Besties, making waves on timelines and stories.
What's one more thing you can do for a child today? Could it be one clinic visit for their next vaccination?
Or say something that will really tickle my brain.
Maybe one healthy lunchbox snack to fuel their day.
Or say something that makes me feel good about myself.
Or one strong no to alcohol in your home.
Just one thing today could change our tomorrow. Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
Hey, want to check your TV license balance conveniently? Look no further. Our SMS service allows you to do just that. By sending a message containing your ID or TV license number to 44210, you can quickly access your balance without needing multiple inquiries or waiting on hold. Plus, standard SMS rates apply. Take advantage of this efficient method to stay informed and streamline your payment process today. T's and C's apply.
This November, SAFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SAFM invites you to our 3rd annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University. Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
This summer, Tap to be poolside besties making waves on timelines and stories. Tap to be Malumi Watsona with data to plug the whole family. Tap to be the Groove Gang streaming big hits sun up till sundown. And tap to live the magic of summer with Telkom. Simply get a Telkom SIM, recharge with 20 Rand or more, or sign up or upgrade to a Telkom contract and tap to win your share of 350 million Rand in exciting prizes like petrol vouchers, data, takeaway vouchers, airtime, travel vouchers, and much more. T's and C's apply. Telkom. Possible begins here.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
5 teams, 1 epic journey. No flights, no smartphones, just grit, maps, and pure determination. Race Across the World Season 3 is back, and the stakes have never been higher. From bustling cities to remote villages, who will conquer the chaos and cross the finish line first? Thursdays at 6 p.m. only on S3.
The 19th Annual Chief Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture will be delivered by the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, on Thursday, the 20th of November 2025, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the MH Yusuf Hall, Westville Campus, University of KwaZulu-Natal. The theme for this year's lecture will be Reflecting on the Work of the World Trade Organization and its Global Impact. This will be a hybrid event streamed live on the University of KwaZulu-Natal's YouTube platform, as well as the Luthuli Museum Facebook page and YouTube channel. Tune in to the National Pulse with Ashraf Garda, coming to you live from the lecture. The annual Luthuli Museum Lecture is a partnership event between the Luthuli Museum, Luthuli Foundation, Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. For more information, contact Zinhle Nyembe on 032 559 6824 or email profficer@luthulimuseum.org.za or Pam Adams on adamsp@ukzn.ac.za. Visit www.luthulimuseum.org.za. The Talking Point with Cathy Mohlahlana. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
You're listening to the Talking Point, 26 after 11 o'clock. If you feel like you've lost a bit of your way in the sense of time, you are not losing your mind. We did go to news after 11 o'clock, and that was really to allow the commission to conclude the evidence they were getting through with Brown Mokgotse before they went for that tea break. So, yeah, quite an interesting morning continues, right, of the cross-examination of Brown Mokhotsi. And at this point, is Brown Mokhotsi even real? Are we talking to the real Brown Mokhotsi? I mean, if your ID, at least on your own version, and credentials on your ID are not correct, what then are we to believe about who you say you are? And perhaps even this confusion is what confirms maybe what he's saying, that he's an agent, that he's a spy. Isn't this how spies exist? They exist without existing, right? Is this not the hallmark, trademark of a spy? Well, Mkhotsi's testimony continues at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry.
Outside Parliament,
So,
the
sir, not
criminal
like news or online news thing.
Uh,
Ever send it to us?
There are two things. What the person
Please be aware that in terms of
and also what was in the news. So I want to be sure about the mention of the PKK.
person who will fully
Was it by the person who communicated with you, or was it by the media? Was it in the news?
Yeah, it was in the news, but senior counsel was saying, so you thought it was the PKTT. I acceded, yes.
Yeah. So are you saying specifically that the news mentioned the PKTT?
The person who sent me the message on WhatsApp, they showing me the PKTT members.
Not the news, not the news.
Yeah.
So the news made no mention of the PKTT.
Yeah, I cannot confirm it was the news. No, did not.
And who was the person who told you this?
It's one of the, is it on the group or, but there is this 3 groups. I can try and verify where this thing come from. Maybe after lunch, I should just go in and look for it quickly. I can try and get where and the source of that.
How was this communicated to you?
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Yes. So you still have this somewhere?
No, if you go to, if it was a news link, I will have to look for that particular phrase, like 204. Go to Google just to research quickly how was it phrased.
Without suggesting that news is always accurate, but I would be very surprised that this was in the news, because this case had nothing to do with the PKTT. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, the fact that the question was posed as to whether Mr. Mokhotsi, did you read the statement? Answering no means I cannot even, I should be directed given what the fact says as we speak.
I will tell you that the judgment concerned events that took place in the Western Cape that had nothing to do with the PKTT. Do you accept that?
I accept on the basis that probably I did not read the judgment. I accept that the judgment may have not said the PKTT, but I know that I don't know if commissioner is saying it has nothing to do with the PKTT because it's not in the KZN.
No.
No, if that's not the case.
I'm just stating the fact that case had nothing to do with the PKTT.
Okay. I accede.
But I may add also that what we have heard thus far, unless you're going to suggest otherwise, is that the PKTT was involved in KZN and also in the Eastern Cape Fort Hare cases and in Tata case. And we've not heard anything else. Yes, a few members came to assist in Gauteng. That's all we have heard. But that's not the point I was making. I was just saying to you that case had nothing to do with the PKTT.
I agree.
It related to Western Cape events that had nothing to do with the PKTT.
I agree, Commissioner.
Why did you rush to tell the minister about the judgment when you had not yourself read the judgment?
Like I said, it happened so quickly, and even today, I have not read the judgment. It happened that quickly, and I typed that message. I thought it was the PKTT.
All right. Just remind me again, what do you say about sourcing for us the information that relates to what was communicated to you? Are you saying you're going to get that for us?
No, I was saying it was before you say it's a fact, Commissioner. Now that you say it's a fact, there's nothing, there's no need for me to look for anything.
No, I'm interested in who told you about this.
No, I would not even find who told me. I was going to check how was it phrased, whether it is phrased in some of the media links. But if
All
you
right,
say it's a fact,
let me ask you directly then. Who gave you that information? The information that this was about the PKTT. Who gave you that information?
I can't remember.
On something that you consider to be so crucial, Minister, we are going to be, you and General Sibia now have a basis for having General Kumalo arrested. Surely that must have been something quite important to you, was it not? The arrest of a general, especially at your instance, is not something that happens every day. Is that not so?
It is so. I believe, commissioners, it seems like it is about General Kumalo. Here, I'm talking of people who were sent to life, were sentenced to life. They had to go. It's not easy to go from High Court to SCA and finally get a judgment in the Constitutional Court. It's not everyone. So I'm saying that how much they lost, the time in prison, all their resources. I even said, even after 30 years of democracy, I was just feeling for those people. Where I am wrong is to align or attach that to the PKT.
Did you not consider this subject to be of importance?
It is important. It was important.
The subject that you communicated with the minister about, did you not consider it to be important?
I did.
So I would have thought that it should be quite easy to know who communicated to you the fact that this was about the PKTT.
You know, it could have, even the message that I sent that talks about the property from the CI and this, I cannot really tell you now who sent it to me, but it's very, very important.
Thank you. Advocate Baloyi.
Thank you.
Baloyi, sing Baloyi.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. The still on that message or exchange with the minister, that page 52 that you were discussing now with the chairperson, you say there that the minister or Sibia or General Sibia can charge Kumalo. That's what you say. I didn't hear your explanation why you skipped the National Commissioner.
I was saying General Sibia was the immediate line manager to General Kumalo.
Yes. And then you say the minister, the executive authority that can do that. And my question is, the operational issues of discipline are not, at least in my understanding, are not ministerial functions. Why do you say the minister and skip the national commissioner?
Yes, the letter, this message was directed to the minister, and as I said, I also realized, as we speak of the internal processes, that the minister cannot charge an individual.
No, but you understand. I think you earlier on told Mr. Chaskalson that you know the workings of the SAP, so you know that the minister cannot discipline. It must mean that you know that.
I said I didn't. I realized later that it is not the minister who can do that. It is remember, it is not that I am acquainted with or conversant with everything in SAPS. Yes, that's correct.
All right. And where in that message you say, now we got something. Now we got something. Before this, you were searching. It suggests that before this, you had been searching and you were not succeeding, and now we got them. Am I wrong to read that the emphasis of now to mean that you're telling the minister, we've been looking, now we've got something to discipline them?
Yeah, you're not wrong to think it that way, but that's not what I
So you had been, you say I'm not wrong.
No, you have to think. Commissioner is saying, Madam Commissioner is saying, you agree that I'm not wrong to think this way. Indeed, you are not wrong to think that way.
Okay. So I'm correct that the communication here means you had been looking for something and now you're telling the minister we've got them finally.
Not necessarily, Commissioner. Maybe the word, English is very troublesome. You just like it. Maybe I just said now we have something, but I did not imply. As he was saying, if I mention something, there must have been some communication.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are you sending your communication with the minister to Mr. Matala about judgments and about Kumalo being disciplined? Why did you think, or why did you know, in fact, that it would be of interest to Mr. Matala that you are communicating this with the minister?
I was showing him that I'm still close to the minister, and the PKTT, which was it was news for him also, good news that he hears it from me. That suggestion, because he talks about the PKTT.
Sorry, your answer is?
It would interest him. According to me, I just thought, because the PKTT, just like the letter that I said, the PKTT that came to your house, he will have interest in that to hear if I suggest that, because that was what I was thinking.
No, but you see, your text doesn't mention the PKTT. It mentions Kumalo.
Yeah.
So you knew he would be interested that Kumalo is to be disciplined, that you're talking to the minister about disciplining Kumalo. You knew that.
It's true. Kumalo, who is the head of the PKTT?
Why did you think Mr. Matlala has an interest in Kumalo being disciplined?
Not Kumalo only.
No. You're referring to Kumalo here.
Yes,
let's take it one step at a time. Your message here speaks only to Kumalo. You haven't said in this message anyone else is to be disciplined, right? You say Kumalo will be disciplined. The question is, why did you think Mr. Matlala has an interest in knowing that you're speaking to the minister about disciplining Kumalo?
Yeah, it's because Kumalo is the head of the PKTT. And like as I said yesterday, I thought, commissioners, if you can know what I think of that message now, it's totally different from what I thought then. Now I can see this message did not have any weight, it's meaningless. But that time I thought, because PKTT is headed by General Kumalo, so for this thing that people went to prison for nothing, he must also be accountable. That's what I thought.
No, but you see, you're wrong. The message is not meaningless. Then and now. It's not meaningless. It's very meaningful. You're telling the minister, here's a judgment. You, Sibia, must discipline, right? It must discipline Kumalo. And you share that with Matala, who has an interest because PKT people have come to his house. So it is a meaningful message. You can't downplay it now, Mr. Mkhotsi.
The content, to think that to say Kumalo must be disciplined,
yes,
it's very wrong. That's what I'm saying. Because in the first place, if like what you alluded to yesterday, if this was a criminal case and you ask me, did Kumalo arrest those people and force them to fall? The answer would be no, and I will be at fault with that.
Okay. And then you've said to the chairperson, and I think it's not the first time, that you did not read this judgment that you are referring to. It was given to you and you just forwarded it to the minister, or you told the minister. Yes. Let me correct that. You were told about the judgment and then you mentioned it to the minister, and then you say, Kumalo, you didn't read this judgment, right?
That's correct.
Now, you've admitted the judgment doesn't refer to PKTT and doesn't refer to Kumalo at all. Is this, you accept that this is yet another case of you saying things that are not supported by facts? So you communicate to the minister something that you didn't check and that is untrue. This judgment has nothing to do with the PKTT. You accept that?
Excellent.
Okay. Now, the WhatsApp exchange is in page 52, if you would just go there. And I have only one question maybe about it. You say, why did you share this with Madlala? Why did Madlala, because it's quite cryptic, by the way. So on its face, it doesn't tell anything. It just says, please update. That's page 52. Minister Nkunu said that to you. You say to him, you say something, it was during your tenure. You had said that at 3:07. You said you don't remember what that was. There are a number of telephone calls. And then you say we got a breakthrough on the 24th. And then the next page is the minister asking, was the arrest effected? Now, anyone reading this, unless you tell us what you were discussing with Mr. Madlala so that this makes sense, anyone reading this exchanges between you and Mr. Madlala, it doesn't make sense. It lacks content. Why do you share this with Mr. Madlala when it has absolutely no content, unless on the phone call you have discussed with him and he knows exactly what these communications are about?
It is not that, it is just that now I don't remember. It's not that I'm saying this never happened, or that time it had a meaning. I so wish I could remember, but I don't remember.
And so you don't remember why you even shared with Mr. Madlala?
No, Maslala had to keep him abreast that I'm working with the minister. That is something else.
Okay.
I would always talk to him.
And here you are working with the minister about what? His contract is not yet cancelled, as I understand. It's December 27th. Why do you need to be persuading Mr. Madlala that you are working with the minister about what?
Not to work with the minister, that I'm close to him. I'm showing him that I always talk to him.
Yeah, what I'm asking is, his contract is not cancelled yet at this point. So yes. Why do you need to persuade him that you are working with the minister or you are close to the minister?
No, I don't know how to put it, commissioners. If you want to win somebody's trust, and then you work, how do I put it? Like any other message that I send him about intelligence vehicles and what, is to show a person that I'm doing my job. This is what I'm doing, and I'm working with the minister. The unfortunate part is that the minister didn't know. And so you'll just show someone that you are working with the minister.
Okay. Now, lastly, it's the discussion about the iPad guy. I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I understood your evidence this morning to be that you were not interested in the arrest itself, but in the iPad guy. You wanted to know who is this iPad guy.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes. Mainly, I wanted to know in particular who's this person.
What does mainly mean, that qualifier?
In the midst of all these things, yes, he needed to get justice for his wife and his assault, but my focus was to get this iPad person.
So you were interested in an arrest as well being made?
Yeah, the arrest is not about interest. I mean, if someone is being arrested and his wife being beaten up in front of him, that justice, no one has the right to do that. Okay. I cannot deny that the arrest, I would even want to see it. I mean,
You actually encouraged it because you actually helped him to go and open a case in Soweto.
It's true. That's correct, Commissioner.
And according to you, who would have been arrested on that case? You know the facts. You know who went to his house.
No, I was.
Who according to you, would have been arrested?
Would be the person who manhandled his wife and him.
And you wanted the name of the IPID guy that would help him with that?
No, because he mentioned him along those lines. I also wanted to know him as to who is this person.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Commissioner.
Sorry. Yes.
I'm sitting here, asking myself questions as I'm responding one by one. And I'm responding to the same table that says to me, even the oath that I have taken, I don't believe it is binding my conscience. If someone is in my shoes, does it really help for me to be here? Or as we go on, it will start to bind in the mind of the commissioners? Is it still appropriate for me to be sitting here giving evidence on a known fact that the oath that I've taken doesn't help?
Mr. Mokhodzi, please do not make a mistake. What is put to you by way of questioning in no way means that decisions, conclusive findings have been made by this commission. I think you asked me a similar question yesterday. I forget, or I think you asked whether we believe that you are in fact a co-agent. Am I mistaken? I think that's the question you put.
That was the question.
And I said to you, Mr. Mokhodzi, we are going to make our findings at some stage down the line. So take it from me when I say at this stage, we have not made any findings. But that does not mean that we will not test what you are saying or what is apparent to us from documents. We are going to test that. All of that will assist us in the end in making findings. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Mr. Mokhodzi, I thought I had finished about the IPID guy. I have one last question that I wanted to ask that I overlooked. At page 47, right at the bottom of those exchanges, you say to Mr. Matala, this is still about the IPID guy, I think in the sequence of conversations.
47.
Yes. 47, yes. Right at the bottom? So the exchange before that is from Mr. Matala. He says to you, there's a bit of a hurdle there, but I will fill you in. Now, we know from earlier evidence that you gave that this conversation is still about the IPID person. But then the very last comment is from you, or message is from you, where you say, will it work? What were you asking here? What would work? Remember, it's about the IPID person. He's just said
Oh, yes, but, he said I wanted to know if he said there's a bit of a hurdle. I just want to know, but will it work?
What will work ultimately?
Whatever that is doing with the IPID person.
Will the IPID person go
succeed?
And
yes.
Okay. No, let me just make sure that you understand what I'm asking. When you ask him, will it work here? Were you asking him, will the IPID person make the arrest happen?
Definitely.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
It is still morning, Mr. Mokhodzi. I didn't want to say good afternoon. The charts that we have been looking at, especially the one on it starts on page 57, continues to page 58. So you see that the date of those chats is 31 December 2024.
That's correct.
Yes. And these are the chats between you and Mr. Mohlahlana because they were obtained from Mr. Mohlahlana's phone.
That's correct.
And we know that 31 December 2024 is the date when the minister drafted the disbandment letter.
That's correct.
We can accept it.
We accept it.
Did you know that the minister was at home on that day?
I did not know where the minister was.
You did not know. And you sending your communication with the minister to Mr. Mohlahlana, correct?
That's correct.
Because on 31 December 2024, you want to show Mr. Mohlahlana that you and the minister are discussing the PKTT, or at least people in the leadership of the PKTT, correct?
Not discussing that. I sent him a message.
Yes.
Remember, the minister did not respond.
Yes.
If it's me, it was a one-way communication.
No, I'm saying you are sending this to Mr. Mohlahlana.
Yes.
And the purpose of you sending it to Mr. Mohlahlana is to show Mr. Mohlahlana that at least you are discussing the PKTT with the minister.
Yeah, that I sent him
Yes.
a message. Yes.
And that you are portraying the PKTT, or at least its leadership, in a negative light. Is that correct? Because you're not saying positive things about the PKTT or its leadership.
That context, yes.
Yeah. So you are portraying the PKTT in a negative light.
To Mohlahlana.
You are showing Mohlahlana
That's
that
correct.
you are portraying to the minister the PKTT in a negative light.
No, I'm not showing that. It's not in that context. To show this is where there's a court judgment.
Yes.
It's a fact. You don't portray. You are showing him. This is now what I think
Yes.
the PKTT have done, and this is what my suggestion is.
Yes.
To the minister.
So you are suggesting to the minister that the PKTT is doing wrong things.
That there's a court judgment.
Yes.
Yes, not the PK. Here we are not referring mainly to the PKTT. I'm referring to the judgment. That here's the judgment, and I feel the leader of the PKTT should be accountable.
Yes.
Yes.
No, we're saying the same thing. You were referring to a judgment.
Yes.
But what interested you in the judgment was the conduct of the PKTT.
That's correct.
Which you thought was bad.
Inappropriately so, yes.
Yes. And this is around 11:18 in the morning, so it's 18 minutes after 11.
Yes.
Yes. And then what follows this text is a text on page 59 to Mr. Mohlahlana, where you say to him, today is D-Day on the other side. You see that?
I see that 100%.
Yes. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that the only thing of relevance or significance that happened that day is the disbandment of the PKTT by the minister.
Absolutely.
At least that is relevant to Mr. Mohlahlana. I mean, I'm sure the whole country would have been celebrating the end of the year. But in these exchanges, the only thing of significance that happened that day is the disbandment of the PKTT.
That's correct. That's correct.
And this suggests, at least to me, that at 11:32 on the 31st of December 2024, you knew that PKTT was going to be disbanded that day. And that's the message you were sending to Mr. Mohlahlana, that this is D-Day. This is the day when PKTT is going to be disbanded.
The suggestion, Commissioner, is it's misplaced, Commissioner. Here it was a D-Day. Remember I said it was, this is what I said. If you check the message, outstanding issues. But from the top, it started by, I'm now worried, my brother.
Yes.
He said, worried about. And I said, the outstanding issues. Now this again. Then I said, okay, today is the D-Day on the other side. I think you must also stand back. The D-Day was the pay for the payment of the January 8th. And then to stand back, look, this is now what supports the stand back. He asked me, stand back, don't understand what you mean. Then I only spoke about your safety and business, because I did allude even yesterday. It was after I heard that they were going to Matlala. I don't want to say attack, but they were going to do a similar thing which they did previously. That is why I even say, if you check the next one, I said, we must just fight what comes your way to help him. It was his way. It has nothing to do with the PKTT and all those stuff and all those things. Now, I don't know, Commissioner, if I should talk about the letter that you say it gave impression to the minister, and I've also showed to Kat.
No, I did not ask about that. I'm only focusing on this text.
Yeah,
so D-Day to you referred to payments for 8 January.
That's correct.
So why did it have to be D-Day on the 31st of December?
Because
2024?
It was what we agreed with the arrangement for the people who were going to Cape Town that we're going to pay. And the focus, as I've said, let's say there's no D-Day, and I say you must stand back, and he asks me from what, and I say for your safety and your business. If it was the PKTT, when he says stand back from what, I should have said something big is coming that is going to make you happy, or something to show that I was awaiting the disbanding. But we were talking specifically about his safety and his business.
Yes. And his safety and his business have
correct.
everything to do with PKTT and not the 8 January event of the ANC.
Yes, that's what I said, because the D-Day is separate.
Yes.
On other issues, is a D-Day on the other side.
Yes.
Yes, but now.
And then when he asks you why he must stand back, you say it relates to your safety and your business.
Business, yes.
Which means it relates to the PKTT.
Because they were going to go, as I heard, they were going to go to him again. There was a stage when they took all his firearms, whereas he's running a private security, doing some VIP. That's what he was telling me. You could not run that without firearms.
Yesterday, you told us that in September 2024, you assisted some people to open a case against the PKTT in Midrand. Do you remember that?
Against General Mkhwanazi, yes.
Yes. Did you tell the minister about that?
No.
In December 2024, did you have, other than the text that we have seen, did you have discussions with the minister about the PKTT and their raid at Mr. Matlala's house and business? Did you tell the minister about that?
I can't remember.
You can, but it's possible that you did.
No.
No, but if you can't remember, then you can't say it did not happen. Either you remember or you don't remember.
No, I never told the minister. And if I don't remember, doesn't mean I did.
Yes.
If one cannot remember, it is just that this is here now. You will find out even this letter that I wrote to the minister, I may have sent to another person also about the judgment, question of judgment. But I don't remember sending or informing the minister that they have beaten Kat's wife, and I know. And I never even spoke to the minister about Kat.
Okay. And then what?
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Well, it's just gone 12 o'clock. It's Thursday, the 20th of November, 2025. A very warm welcome to Updated Noon here on SAFM. Leading the conversation, I'm Sakina Kamwendo. Coming up in the next hour.
The world needs to recognize how it needs to move on with or without the United States. And I think that's what you're going to see with member states that are going to join President Cyril Ramaphosa over the next few days.
And of course, he's sitting right across from me. He's here in studio, showing Bryce Pease. He will be in conversation in a short while, coming to you live from the Nasrec Expo Center. This is, of course, in the south of Johannesburg, where we are in a full swing and preparations well underway for the G20 Leaders Summit that kicks off this weekend. And
I was not actually born in 1979. I was born in 1977.
So that's another lie in your affidavit when you said you were born in August 1979. That's another lie.
No, Commissioner, it's not a lie.
Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi is feeling the heat during cross-examination of his evidence at the Madlanga Commission. And of course, we always want to hear from you. Let us know what's on your mind. 41391 is the SMS line number. You can also get in touch at SABC News_radio, or you can send us a voice note on 082-692-3909. Well, these and more stories coming up on this Thursday edition of Update at Noon. First, though, here's your latest news with Ondelambana.
Thank you, Sakina. On the top stories, Mokgotsi continues with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, and death toll rises to 11 in the Free State bus accident. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good day. Evidence leader advocate Matthew Chasklerson has put it to Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi that his text message to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu regarding a breakthrough has nothing to do with an operation at Stilfontein. Signal messages between Mchunu and Mokgotsi show that the businessman was in constant communication with Mchunu, who has been placed on special leave days after a raid was conducted at Vusi Ketmatlala's property. The raid was conducted by PKTT members. However, Mokgotsi has denied that it had anything to do with PKTT members.
If there was a breakthrough, it means it would have been that iPad guy. So it is not, and I cannot remember this message.
Well, let me suggest you another breakthrough that there may have been. You may have been told that there are grounds to arrest members of the PKTT for allegedly assaulting Mr. Matlala when they arrested him on the 6th of December. And you may have reported that to the minister as a breakthrough.
Probably that would be a prophecy from somewhere.
The death toll in Saturday's morning's N8 crash between an interstate bus and a truck in the Free State has risen to 11. 10 people died at the scene of the crash between Bloemfontein and Botshabelo. The latest death is a male patient who died at Pilonomi Hospital's intensive care unit. 41 people with various degrees of injuries were transported to hospitals in Bloemfontein and Botshabelo. It was reported that both vehicles were traveling in the same direction when the crash happened. However, the exact case is still under investigation. Climate activists under the Fossil Ad Ban campaign led by Fossil Free South Africa say their march against Total Energies aims to stop the continued sale of land and exploitation of resources. The group is marching to the corporation's offices in Rosebank, Johannesburg. Fossil Ad Ban campaigner Noxolo Mfocwa says they are specifically targeting Total Energies because they believe the company has been exploiting African soil through projects such as liquefied natural gas initiative and Eco Project. Bogwa says they are calling for an end to these projects, citing that they displace communities from their land.
Our demands are one, we don't want any new oil and gas explorations to take place in the entire Africa. So this march as it is represents not just South African organizations. We have 55 or so organizations that have signed on the letter of demand that is going to be delivered. And these organizations are globally represented and also representative of countries like Uganda and Tanzania, which are affected, and Mozambique as well, which are currently affected by the stuff that Total Energies is currently doing.
Political analyst Levindo has criticized politicians who continue to accept positions after being implicated in misconduct. His remarks come after ANC MP Malusi Gigaba stepped aside from his duties yesterday after being charged with corruption. The charges related to a multi-billion rand Transnet tender for locomotives during his tenure as the Public Enterprises Minister. Ndo says aside from Gigaba, there are many other ANC members who've been implicated in wrongdoing and continue to hold their positions. He says this clearly displays a lack of integrity and discipline amongst politicians.
It is unfortunate that such people could be having the view that nothing could be found against them. People want to hold on to positions because they've been elected. If you know that you've done something wrong, why do you wait for the NPA to charge you? Maybe you could be taking advantage of it. They could check around her and you can stay on in office until your term of office expires. People who have done wrong things should not only step aside, but resign.
The UK COVID-19 public inquiry will today report on its findings on the government's response to the pandemic. More than 160 witnesses appeared at hearings in London, Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast. The BBC's Hugh Pym has more details.
In a report of around 800 pages, the inquiry's chair, Baroness Hallett, will examine the decisions made by the UK government and devolved administrations. It'll look at whether lockdowns were timely and reasonable, whether ministers considered how they would affect people, and whether there was effective communication with the public. Baroness Hallett is also due to cover public confidence in the measures imposed and breaches of the rules and standards, including by ministers and officials. She'll set out recommendations for policymakers.
Recapping the top story, evidence leader advocate Matthew Chaslason has put it to Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi that his text message to Police Minister Sanzo Mchunu regarding a breakthrough has nothing to do with an operation at Stilfontein. I'm Ondilambana for SFM News.
This week on BBC Primetime, watching TV could make you a winner. It's the BBC Primetime Watch and Win competition. Just tune into your BBC Primetime shows, answer a few simple questions on S3's TikTok account, and you could walk away with awesome prizes. From thrilling dramas to jaw-dropping reality shows, the more you watch, the more chances you have to win. Watch, answer, win. Only on BBC Primetime. Airs weeknights 9 to 11 p.m. on S3. Your couch just became the best seat in the game. Yes.
Collaboration works best when it's human first, AI enabled. Vodacom Business gives your teams the tools to share ideas and deliver big projects, to meet, chat and co-create. With 24/7 local support always in reach, we connect people, not just devices. Search Vodacom Business Enterprise applications. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Steadies understands that victory in their own backyard is highly important before the going gets tough on foreign soil. While the Congolese Giants want to kick off their group stage campaign on a high note. This is the CAF Confederation Cup encounter. Stellenbosch FC versus AS Otoho. This Sunday, 23 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m. Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo.
Well, a very good afternoon to you. Thanks so much for being with us here on Update at Noon. And of course, you haven't heard my voice in a while because it's been Madlanga Commission, it's been Ad Hoc Committee, and mind you, it's still going on. But of course, there's another big show in town, which is the G20. And we're coming to you live from Nasrec. And this is, of course, where the Leaders Summit will convene this coming weekend. And you know it's a big one when this guy rolls into town because, you see, we need to show off as the SABC. We need to bring out all the big guns, and it doesn't get any bigger than Show and Bryce Pease. So good to have you back home.
You know, just to your point, Sakina, thank you for the lovely welcome. But just to your point, what a complicated, complex news environment South African media is navigating in this country right now. You mentioned the Madlanga Commission, there's the Ad Hoc Committee, there's the NPA inquiry into, the Gauteng childcare, there's the G20. I mean, our sports teams are doing really well. I mean,
thank you.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, and you know, Showan, I must say, I'm loving it right now because the stories are literally writing themselves.
Yeah, you don't even have to go on air.
Yeah, like you literally just have to sit there and listen. And speaking of, Brown Mokhotsi is still testifying, and it's very interesting. This morning, there was another question around his date of birth. Apparently, it says 1979. He says, no, it's wrong. He was actually born in 1973. So he joined MK when he was 13 years old or something. Brown Mokhotsi is saying a lot of things. He was asked about his training as an operative, and they asked the question, the commissioners, and he said something like, there were 10 of us. And Commissioner Kumalo asked, but where? And he says, no, there were 10 of us in a room. It's very interesting, but it's also very worrying.
All that I know is exactly the date of birth that I have, and it's 1979. And there's no question about
So
that.
you and Brown, it's either your year or my
He's
year.
either with me or he's against
Always
me.
with me. Yeah, so he must choose a struggle, and it seems he's choosing my struggle at the moment. But of course, Sherwin, we're here for the G20,
Of course.
and this is of course the first time that this particular gathering is taking place on the African continent. But from someone who has, perhaps the best vantage point out of all of us, given the work that you do at the United Nations, and just watching these diplomats and how they interact with various issues, from that vantage point, how would you say the African G20 has been perceived?
Certainly with aplomb if you are based at the United Nations, because essentially what South Africa has done here, it's very interesting, right? They have shaped their G20 agenda essentially around elements that are contained within the 2030 development agenda, the sustainable development goals. A recognition that those goals are not on track in terms of implementation. I think the number right now is around 35% of targets are on track to meet the 2030 deadline. You talk about a $4 trillion annual SDG implementation gap. This is a G20 that is aligned with the development agenda, that is essentially central to what the United Nations is about. Yes, stopping wars and all the like, but in terms of infusing that agenda with some momentum from the richest countries in the world, they're all part of the G20. They're also the largest emitters. They're the largest trading bloc in the world. So this is a bloc that can really make a difference in terms of that lagging agenda. And so you'll see a lot of a backslapping between the SG and President Ramaphosa, because in terms of this agenda, they're aligned. The problem is the United States and mini-me United States, which is Argentina in this sense, because they sort of followed the leader. And what sort of obstacles are they going to put in terms of this progress? Because you know that the United States has asserted it no longer supports the SDGs. It no longer asserts the 2030 agenda as a priority. And it wants the G20 to refocus on its core mandate, which was, how it originated in terms of global macroeconomic and market stability. What the argument now is, but that is not enough to deal with food insecurity, to deal with poverty, to deal with gender inequity, which has implications on the economy writ large. And so we need to chew gum and walk at the same time.
And when we talk about the United States, one of the big priorities here is, of course, the whole climate change agenda. And you talk about the United States and them just walking back on certain protocols, the Kyoto Protocol, and we know what their stance has been.
The Paris Climate Change Agreement, they've withdrawn.
Paris Climate Change, they've withdrawn. And this is not a Trump thing. This is the United States way before Trump. But speaking about Trump, do you think that the absence of Trump and the absence of a delegation from the US government detracts greatly from this gathering?
I don't think it detracts from the gathering unless there is a tweet or a social media post that seeks to impugn what is going on here, right? I mean, FOMO, fear of missing out, is something you've often associated with the president of the United States. So if the action is happening elsewhere, he might inject himself into deliberations here. And unfortunately, the media focus will then shift a little bit to what the President of the United States is saying. But as Ronald Lamola, South Africa's Minister of International Relations, has said this week at, I believe, the Bloomberg conference earlier this week, he made the point that the world needs to figure out how to move on. We don't want to move on without the United States. The United States is the largest economy in the world. They're one of the they're among the countries that has the largest responsibility for CO2 emissions in the atmosphere. That is critical to the climate change debate. You don't want them to be excluded, but you also then have to figure out how to work around them, how to circumnavigate the obstacles that they are going to put in the path of an agenda that the majority of world nations, including big countries like China, Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia. I mean, these are countries with huge populations are saying this is the agenda that we need to be implementing right now. And we need to find the means and the financing to do that. And so we cannot, be beholden to what the United States is doing, even though it is disruptive in terms of what we need to be doing as a collective.
And just transitions. That word just and justice is a word that really needs to I want to say we need to foreground it, but it's more than that. We need to move from the platitudes to action because justice for countries, especially those in the global south, for especially those on the African continent, Sherwin. Because if you think about the fact that we talk about just energy transitions and we saw what happened in South Africa. Yes, we all understand what needs to happen. Yes, we all get that we need to transition to cleaner sources of energy. But how do we do that in a way that is just and delivers justice while we do it?
I mean, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, there's a terminology, there's a legal principle in terms of climate change negotiations called common but differentiated responsibilities. I'm sure you've heard that. What that
Mm.
means is those who are most responsible for where we are today in terms of climate catastrophe, right? The levels of CO2 emissions in the Earth's atmosphere that is causing the Earth's temperature to rise above 1.5 degrees by the end of the century, which means we're going to have horrible storms, horrible human suffering, and the question is, what are we now doing to mitigate what we know is coming? And so what a just transition talks to is common but differentiated responsibility. You are most responsibility as the United States or as China or as the developed world for where we find ourselves in terms of the levels of CO2 emission in our atmosphere. And you now have to, you have a greater responsibility in terms of financing the mitigation that's required, particularly for low income countries, particularly for small island states that are sinking into the ocean because the ice caps are melting and the ocean's rising, and so that's the issue here.
But it's a lot of rhetoric once more. It's a lot of talk. I
So,
mean,
so
when are
the,
we walking the talk?
so this summit is about finding the money, and so what you are going to hear from the Secretary General and people around him are terms like concessional financing, the role that development banks have to play in terms of giving financing so countries can implement this agenda, but not at market rates. It has to be at a rate where you're not going to increase necessarily a country's debt. And there's a statistic at the UN where they say that a lot of developing countries are paying more on their debt repayments
Mm.
than they are on investing in healthcare and investing in the environment and on quality education. And so that is the balance that needs to be reframed.
And the UN's Bretton Woods institutions
Yes,
are
yes.
majorly to blame for a lot of that.
And who runs those institutions? Who has the largest voting rights on in terms of the board? The big countries that are most
Exactly.
responsible for these things. It's a bit it's a conversation akin to reforming the UN Security Council. Which 5 countries must sign off on any reform that happens in that council? The 5 permanent members that have the veto and don't want to share the veto. So that is at the core of the problems in terms of the financial architecture, the geopolitical architecture. It's an architecture of old that gives the power to the most powerful that have to relinquish that power, and they're saying we're not ready to do that.
We know about power. And
It's Black November at MTN. A whole month of great deals. Get a 100 gig MTN mobile internet Ruby plan, now just 319 per month for 12 months. And for just 20 Rand extra per month, add a 4G pocket router and connect up to 10 devices. Plus get a free 10 gig startup bundle, redeemable on the MTN app. So don't miss out. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. T's and C's apply. Today, we make moves. MTN.
When love turns to hate and hate turns to violence, the truth is never simple. In Love and Hate Crime Season 2, real stories expose the dark side of human emotion, where identity, passion, and prejudice collide. Powerful, unflinching, unforgettable. These are the crimes that challenge what we think we know about love and humanity. Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on S3. S3, open up.
Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m.
But what happened there? Anyway, let's talk.
well, welcome back to Nasrec and conversation there with Sherwin Bryce Pease, of course, as South Africa receives global support after taking over the G20 presidency almost a year ago. And according to the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, there will be 42 countries coming. They have confirmed their participation at various levels at this weekend's G20 Leaders Summit. And thanks so much to Sherwin Bryce Pease, had to run off and do some other stuff as well. Right, taking you now to the Rosebank, I believe, And this is where I understand there are some protests, and we were aware that these would be happening in the lead up to, and of course, perhaps some during the time that we have the G20 Leaders Summit. And just to find out exactly what is happening there, we are going to take you there now. And this is, of course, where we have our reporter, Notolo Mfopra. But it's not our reporter. In fact, Notolo is with Fossil Ad Ban Advocacy, and she's a campaigner with them. And they are basically advocating for fossil free South Africa. Notolo, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Welcome to Update at Noon.
Good afternoon, Sakina. Thank you so much for having us.
Notolo, please tell us about your protest. Why are you protesting? What are your concerns?
So we've just concluded our peaceful march to Total Energy's headquarters, Rose. We a coalition of communities, environmental and social justice movements, youth groups, faith leaders, creatives, and civil society organizations from across Africa. We are gathered here today to send a message to Total Energy. The history of perception needs to come to an end. I mean, this year is celebrating 101 years of existence. And in those 101 years, 70 years of, have been spent exploiting the resources of Africa. And we are saying we want nothing to do with that anymore. Total Energies is one, destroying our environment. It is causing land deposition all over the continent. There are human rights violations that are related to their operations, and just generally the state of African world. You can look from the Niger Delta to Gado in Mozambique to the ECOP project that's happening in Uganda and Tanzania, and you will see expanding offshore oil and gas projects while preaching a message of being about clean energy and being leaders in the clean energy industry. So beyond just regulations that they're putting our communities through, they are also greenwashing themselves through PR agencies and advertising saying that for clean energy when they're not.
Just a sense, if you would just bring the rest of us in on this. Your march today is to Total Energies, and you've just described what it is that you're aggrieved with as far as Total
Yes.
Energies is concerned. Are they the only ones guilty of the transgressions that you've just mentioned?
No, not at all. They're not the only ones. I mean, you all remember the situation that's still ongoing in Solomon with Shell doing the same thing. And I think our leaders are very complicit in this because they're the ones granting the license. They're the ones, these fossil fuel companies to come to South Africa to use international consultants to processes of participation where communities would have consent about whether or not they want to take place. So it's the government that's constantly working in collusion with these fossil fuel companies um, to bypass the processes in order for people to actually now that speak in the West Coast, Total Energy is trying to get um, drill for oil, and we don't want them drilling for oil and gas on our land. We don't want them destroying our oceans. We don't want them taking our land away and taking our livelihood with that land, taking away our ancestral graves, taking away the land we used to kill ourselves because we do now the same land that was from their pipeline. It's also in that right now the process is to amend legislation and control different groups to explore and license to actually start looking for it and do production. Our government is actively trying to control the processes so that these companies can bypass the process and get one license that allows them to first explore, and if they don't find it, they can just leave, devastate the communities behind. Find they can just go ahead and mine for it without accounting for anything that's the environment, station to communities, to, to nature, and.
Mm. So, Nokolo, what are your demands? What do you want from Total
So,
Energies?
our demand today is that we want an end to all new oil and gas exploration and development in Africa, including including the LNG project in Mozambique, including any offshore drilling in South Africa. Who is going to want immediate fossil fuel subsidies? And this one is directed to our government, of course. And we want these resources that are subsidies to be redirected towards community-led renewable energy projects. We also want misleading advertisement, greenwashing campaigns that portray Total Energies as a climate friendly company. To acknowledge and compensate the affected communities that I mentioned just now for the loss of land and livelihoods and ecosystems that have been destroyed by their operations. We also want to commit to a just and equitable transition that prioritizes renewable energy, distributed justice, and African ownership of energy transition. We also want them to support the fair grant financing to Africa. We don't want debt, we don't want loans, in order to enable local and sustainable development that is driven by clean energy.
All right. Very interesting, Nokolo. We're going to leave it there. Thanks so much, Nokolo Mfokwa, who's a fossil ad ban advocacy campaigner from Fossil Free South Africa. Let us know your thoughts on that particular matter.
Update at noon, midday to 1 p.m.
Now, the government of South Africa, under its presidency of the G20, has officially endorsed the Children 20 or the CH20 as one of the engagement groups of the G20 Social Summit. And this, of course, marks a historic milestone in global governance and child rights advocacy, ensuring that the voices, experiences, and the priorities of children are embedded in one of the world's most influential economic and political fora. Now, to talk to us more about the children's role in the summit, we joined by Children's 20, Yivani Mtini. Thanks so much for your time this afternoon, Yivani, and welcome to Update at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you because what's better than to hear from the children, Yivani? So, what are
Yes,
the
of
children
course.
saying? And what do you want to find expression in the declaration here at G20?
Yes. So, with us forming the declaration, the main thing is early childhood development, adolescence participation and agency, digital justice stories, and many, many more. But we really just want to be heard and seen as the youth, as the children of this country, and want our voices to really create an impact and make meaningful change.
When you say you want to be heard and seen, explain to us. Or do you feel heard at the moment? Do you feel seen?
I mean, right now we do definitely. I mean, it's the first time we're having the children's 20. It's the first time we're having this opportunity to come out, to give a declaration and really create laws and rules and rights that are by us for us. So I think right now there's a lot of change that is happening and it's really incredible to see. So I love how we're progressing and moving in this direction.
Ivani, when we speak about children, we will be talking about quite a huge cohort of the South African population and of the
Yes.
G20 countries' populations altogether. So, what is it that the children think should be the foremost priority? What do you think the leaders should focus on so that we can ensure a better future for all our children?
Thank you so much. I think the leaders should really focus on our safety. Children deserve to live in a country, in a world that they feel safe in, that they feel that they can really live and be children, be kids, live their lives. And I really think that safety is the most important thing that we're focusing on right now because if there is no children's safety, there will be no children's 20. I mean, who will be there, you know? So children's safety is definitely the number one thing, protecting children. I mean, as a country and globally, we could be saving trillions of dollars on if we just kept the children safe, if we really just protected our kids as the country is.
And if you were the president of the G20, what would the one thing be that you would do immediately to make all the children happy?
Mm. I
Come
mean,
on,
should I give
your
a serious answer
opportunity.
for this one, or
Yes, listen, I want your
I serious
honest
subject?
answer. As a
Yes.
child, I want to know, what do you want?
What do we want? We want to make change. We want to really bring innovation. We want to create new ideas. We want to bring in new things. We want to just change the world and progress it to such an extent that it's unimaginable. You know, there's so much potential that we have. There's so much we could do as the youth. There's so much that hasn't even been discovered that we have to only if we're given that opportunity. And maybe make children and the youth the forefront, really make us the headlines, you know, put us at the front, give us an opportunity to really show you what we have, because there's so much potential that the youth of South Africa have. I mean, creativity to culture to academics to technology, that everyone could play such an amazing role, and really giving everyone a chance, a fair chance, in terms of education. The education system has been a really big conversation that has been brought up in the children's 20. So giving fair education, depending, regardless, in fact, of private or public schools, let's have an education system where we can all benefit from. And free education has been something that has been spoken about for many, many years. And I think that is something we're going to be pushing more and more and more for.
Indeed, free quality education. Ivani, loved
Free
speaking to
quality,
you.
yes, education.
Thank you so much for engaging us. And there you heard it from the young people of our country. Ivani Mtini is from the organization Children's 20. And let us know what you make of all of these conversations, the G20, the commissions, everything that's going on. Get in touch with us. But first, let's bring you up to speed with the headlines. Here's Ondelambana.
Thank you, Sakin. On the news headlines, Commissioner Sandile Khumalo has dispelled the notion that Northwest businessman Brian Mkhotsi was an Umkhonto Sizwe operative. The Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport has launched the Points Person of the Future program. It's aimed at improving traffic management and road safety across the province. And the death toll in Saturday morning's N8 crash between an interstate bus and a truck in the Free State has risen to 11. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
The rand is trading at 17 rand 22 cents to the US dollar, 22 rand 48 to the pound sterling, and 19 rand 83 to the euro. The euro trading at $1.15 and the dollar's at 157 yen 30. In Brazil, one US dollar is trading at 5 real 32, Russia 80 ruble 75, and India at 88 rupees 54. And in China, one US dollar is changing hands at 7 yuan 10. Markets in Asia were mixed at closing bell. Japan's Nikkei advanced 2.7%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng ended flat. China's Shanghai index fell by 0.4%, while India's markets were trading slightly higher at the close of trade. The JSE mainly higher at midday as well. The All Share Index has strengthened by 0.6% and is currently at 112,688. The Industrial 25 Index is added 1.4%. Financials up 1.45%. Top 10 Resources Index and the Precious Metals and Mining Index, they've both gained more than 2%. And on the capital market, the yield on the R186 government bond is at 7.46%. Markets in Europe currently trading higher as well. Britain's FTSE 100 up 0.7%. CAC 40 in France increased by 1.3%, while Germany's DAX is 1.1% to the good. And looking at commodity prices, gold trading at $4,042 per fine ounce. Platinum's at $1,535 per ounce, while the price of Brent crude oil is at $63.87 a barrel.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The best of the good life is coming back in 2026. But first off, Billings, Jonathan, Fez, and myself reunite for a road trip to the top beaches in SA. Kraalbaai, Camps Bay, Boulders Beach, and Nature's Valley. Don't miss the Top Billing Reunion Special, Thursday 27th November at 7 p.m. with repeat Saturday 29th at 3 and Sunday the 30th at 1 p.m. S3, open up.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 105.1 FM in Johannesburg. Sakina Kamwendo on SAFM.
Now, President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to close the three-day G20 Social Summit in Ekurhuleni today. And this is where government, civil society and labor groups have been pushing social priorities onto the global agenda. Fedusa, who is attending as part of the labor delegation, says that the summit must deliver practical solutions to the economic and financial pressures facing workers worldwide. They're also urging leaders to match commitments with measurable action. Now, President Ramaphosa will receive the final declaration reflecting these calls from communities and labor movements. But for more, we joined on the line by Fedusa's General Secretary, Rifta Ajam. Fedusa's General Secretary. Rifta, good afternoon. Thanks so much for speaking to us.
Good afternoon to you, Sakina, and thank you once again for the opportunity.
Rifta, as we wrap up the social summit, as Fedusa, what specific outcomes do you believe have to be reflected in that final leaders' declaration in order for workers to feel that they've been genuinely represented?
Well, Sakina, let me start from the premise that this is the boldest opportunity for South Africa to showcase the realities of Africa and the vision and the hopes that South Africa carries. Our aspirations has always been at the L20 and on other fora that this must be a worker-centered outcome that delivers the social justice that we are looking for, underpinned by the fact that policies must drive economic development that will advance not only employment opportunities, but will carry the social justice mandate that we are looking for. In the committees that took place, we are happy that tangible outcomes are on the cards, but what we want to see now is an opportunity for South Africa to demystify the fact that we have always been decrying implementation. So as the Deputy President echoed yesterday, good things are happening in South Africa, and this is the opportunity that organized labor, as part of an inclusive society, will be focusing on to ensure that our commitment and the aspirations that we carry will most certainly be realized.
Well, we have some of the wealthiest nations in the world represented here, some of the biggest economies, with unemployment remaining stubbornly high. What immediate interventions would Fedusa urge the G20 to adopt that could translate into, as you say, real, measurable job creation first and foremost?
Sakina, the call that Labour has been making at all given stages is that we are not looking for rhetoric in the declarations. We are looking for tangible, measurable, and financially advanced commitments this time around to ensure that the justice mandate that we are carrying on behalf of society, the equitable and the inclusive mandate, can be realized. So those commitments must be solid and they must be grounded in policies that will drive Africa and South Africa out of that rut that we are looking at, which is harbored by unemployment and inequality. So there have been solid outcomes here, and our job now is to ensure that we monitor and that we drive the implementation factor. But that can only be achieved if the commitments that have been signaled here by the members that are in attendance can take it to another level.
So, just in terms of accountability, which concrete commitments will you, as producer, hold government and some of the social partners also represented? How will you hold them accountable once the summit ends?
Well, ultimately, Sakina, we don't bark if we can't bite. As organized labor, we have consistently called for a roadmap and a framework that focus on reducing the narrative of austerity and the focus on real investment. And that can be measured in terms of the investment that we are seeing, the worker-centered, focused approaches here, and the fact that inclusivity and the governance factors, not just in terms of AI, but in terms of those vulnerable communities that we are serving to seek, has to be the order of the day. So there will most certainly be clear follow-ups. South Africa cannot just abandon the fact that we now hand over the presidency. We must hold ourselves accountable from a first point of call, and we must consistently ensure that this developmental agenda that we are seeking to achieve is one that is real, one that is felt by the people of South Africa and Africa, and one that can achieve the outcomes that we are looking for. So we are going to measure it. There will be oversight mechanisms, and you can bet that Labour will be at the forefront on driving these aspects, considering that the stubbornly high levels of unemployment have been shrouding us as a constituency for too long. So ultimately, that watchdog mandate that we have will most certainly be there to ensure that implementation takes the highest order.
Rivda, thanks so much for your time. Producer General Secretary Rivda Ajam speaking to us there at the Social Summit. And of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa will be making the closing remarks at that particular summit. And it's going to be interesting to see the final declaration with all of the various streams and tracks coming together, what ultimately finds expression in the final declaration. Right, we're going to take a break and we'll be back here at Nasrec after this.
Carnival Club is counting 3 points on home ground. Meanwhile, the Kragkouwers refuse to travel back home without a win. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch FSV Mainz versus TSG Hoffenheim on Friday, 21 November at 9:30 p.m. live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m.
Now, as the G20 Social Summit in Boksburg enters its final day, delegates and organizations are buzzing with energy. And the National Development Agency, under the Department of Social Development, has brought its full range of services and exhibitors to the forefront. The agency says that its mission is to capacitate, empower, and accelerate the growth of social enterprises and cooperatives across the nation. For more on this, we joined from the Birchwood Conference Center by Susan Khumalo, who's the Chief Operations Officer from the National Development Agency, and Murunwa Mahua, founder of Bonang Masikule Cooperative. Well, let me start with you. Thanks for speaking to us this afternoon, ladies. Ms. Khumalo, let me start with you, just in terms of the exhibition and the footprint that people are able to engage with at Birchwood. What does the actual presence translate to for exhibitors at the summit?
Oh, thank you very much, Sakina. Yes, I'm Kensani Mtembi. I'm standing in for Ms. Khumalo. Thank you very much. Yes, we have brought exhibitors here because as the National Development Agency, we work with empowering cooperatives, among other civil society organizations who are involved in different income generating activities. So Bonang Masikule, as they will explain further, are involved in school uniform, including the whole package of school uniform, including school bags and so on. Yes.
Mr. Mtembi, before we speak to the cooperative, just in terms of people listening to this conversation right now, if they are in a position where they can, come together and form a cooperative, how do they access funding from your organization?
Yes, we've got offices in all the 9 provinces, at the main centers in the provinces, so they can approach our offices. We do not have sort of a call for proposals. We work in communities. So once they make a call, our colleagues, our officials will then come out to see them and assist them through the process. So we do assist people even from those that may not yet be registered, and assist them to even register and form themselves. And in many instances, even the funding may not even come directly from the NDA, and then would be able to direct them appropriately and empower them for them to be able to raise funds elsewhere and assist them in terms of also what's also becoming more and more important is how do you harness people's own agency? How do you assist people to realize the power that they have, even the resources that they have, which they can then use to leverage and start their businesses with some kind of assistance. But people are able to contact us at our offices, and they can also visit our website, www.nda.org.za. That's where they will also be able to find the different contacts for the different provincial offices. It's always advisable to work through the provincial office because the provincial offices are the site of implementation. And even if they contacted us at national office, would then be able to refer them to provincial offices.
Ms. Mahua, if I could speak to you now, just in terms of the temperature, the real temperature on the ground, because people are coming through, you showcasing. How has that been? And how have you connected with people at the summit?
Yes, Sakina, thank you. Okay, it's been good today because maybe I should introduce myself. I am Morongwa Mawoa from Bonang Masikule Cooperative, which is based in a location called Kagiso in Chamdor. And the temperature is good today. It's just normal outside. And then to go forward is that we are manufacturing school shoes from the scratch. Also, we are also doing recycling in bags, whereby we've partnered with different companies, whereby we collect material from them, and then we use it to manufacture our bag. And then from the same initiative, we are also training young people around Kagiso who want to manufacture bags or schools. And then we thank the NDA because they gave us the fund to start the cooperative when they buy us equipment. When they buy us equipment so that we can manufacture a quality shoe.
Well, I'm so glad that you are seeing the value and, of course, the opportunity to showcase at the social summit. And thanks so much for speaking to us, Marunwa Mahua, chairperson and founder of Bonang Masikule Cooperative, and also Mr. Kensani Mtembi, who's the senior manager for operations at the NDA.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 106.1 FM in Durban North. Update at noon with Sakina Kamwendo, midday to 1 p.m.
And coming to you live from Nasrec, and this is one of the precincts around Johannesburg that will be disrupted this weekend. The Johannesburg Metro Police Department says that it is aware of about 7 planned protests and marches, as well as some pickets that are expected to take place starting tomorrow. Now, these are expected within the Nasrec and Sandton areas ahead of the G20 World Leaders Summit. The JMPD spokesperson, Xolani Fihla, says that stringent measures have been put in place, especially within the Nasrec area, which is where we are coming to you from. And there will be a hard lockdown, and that will be implemented from this afternoon, as we understand. But we don't have to guess about it because I'm joined here in studio by a police spokesperson, Brigadier Atlenda Mate. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So there will be disruptions this weekend. I think people they have got the message by now. But what sort of measures will be implemented and when?
Well, as you've rightly indicated, we are now on hard lockdown stage. This simply means that if you are in and around the Nasrec and FNB Stadium and you're not in possession of a valid accreditation card, then you are in the wrong place. Security has been heightened. You would have seen traffic cops manning the various different entrances towards Nasrec and so on. We have heightened police visibility, various law enforcement agencies working together just to ensure that this G20 Leaders Summit takes place in a safe and secure environment. So if you are in the vicinity, expect stop and searches, vehicle foot patrols. We also have our mounted unit, our horses that are also here. We've got our K9 unit, our specialized unit, special task force. You know that they only respond to high risk incidents. So it is a high risk event. We are leaving nothing to chance just to ensure that this event takes place in a peaceful environment.
And Brigadier, we've been hearing the helicopters hovering above, and we are expecting some of the world leaders to start arriving today already. So, are you just able to give us a sense of what that would mean beyond the Nasrec precinct?
Well, throughout Gauteng, I think Johannesburg, which is obviously the epicenter where everyone will be, there is heightened security operations in and around the Nasrec area. We issued a notice to all airmen that it is a no-fly zone area. We will not allow any aircraft that is not allowed to be in the vicinity to fly over this particular area. It's also a no drone zone area as well. So the aircrafts that you see, it's your JMPD, Gauteng Traffic Police, the SAPS, and we also have the SANDF who is supporting our operations as the SAPS, where they are conducting their secondary role.
And things obviously today, tomorrow, we will see a gradual increase in the security measures and the lockdown areas. But Saturday and Sunday, that's when the summit proper kicks off. So I do understand that there will be road closures, and that's going to be important for people to also understand, what will and will not be allowed, and the times of day that they will be most affected.
So important to note, especially with the convoys that are carrying the heads of state, when that convoy passes on the road, there'll be a complete road closure. So we, like you've indicated, you communicated with Xolani Fihla, the spokesperson of JMPD, has already communicated that type of message. So all we are requesting from South Africans is just to cooperate with law enforcement agencies. There won't be major traffic delays. It will just be for that period when that convoy starts moving, complete road closure, and then thereafter, when it has already passed, the roads will be opened. So the roads that are likely to be affected, your N1, N3, M1, your N14, R21, and so on. But we trust that South Africans will welcome our visitors in the true spirit of Ubuntu, just like in many other events. And I think this is an opportunity for us as a security cluster as well to showcase our expertise, our capabilities once again. You know that the Nat Joints has a great track record of delivering successful, incident-free events, just like your 2010 World Cup, your 2023 BRICS Summit. So this too, we are quite confident that we are ready, we are prepared, and